Welcome to Hurrdat Sports Live.
In the 2025 NBA Draft, the Dallas Mavericks select Cooper Flagg from Duke University.
Feeling amazing. It's a dream come true, to be honest.
And down the line, into the corner, and out of here.
The mental thing. Here we go.
In the air, right center field. That's pretty well struck on its way. Gone! And it caroms into the bullpen. Kyle Tucker with the home run, his 16th. He'll almost certainly be headed to Atlanta as an all-star for the fourth time. Jose, base hit to left. The comeback hit, strike again.
Fine. Soto unloads one to right center field, headed toward the wall, and it's out of here. Juan Soto with his second of the night.
Good morning. Welcome into Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Centrist Federal Credit Union. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla. What's up, DB?
How we doing?
We're doing great.
Really?
Well, I figured, we got the camera figured out. I'm happy.
Oh, yeah. You only had to make 2 phone calls.
Yeah.
You know, I get it. Sometimes, like, with every text message that can pop up, you're like, oh, gosh, what now?
Mm-hmm.
But fudge, man, when you call Sasha before a certain time, she just has to, like, low-key eye roll.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Like, oh, my God, why can't he figure out anything?
That's twice this week.
You know, the cool thing is?
What's that?
It's not me this time.
I've made everyone that works here very aware that I am the least technologically sound person in the office.
Okay.
So they're like, when I feel
Once
like
they kicked me out, you didn't have to worry about.
it was, I mean, you and me were fighting
Yeah.
for the last spot.
Yeah, and they're like, yeah, we're growing exponentially. This dude isn't very efficient with his space. He's out.
They're like,
That's fine.
Somebody needs your office, man.
It's okay.
You've made us aware of a lot of things.
I am wrapped in a giant candy shell of being a
Yeah, 100%. That will never get old. It is the truest thing you've ever uttered on the show.
Self-awareness.
One more time, Shane, with Mr. Self-Awareness.
I am wrapped in a giant candy shell of being a dick.
Yeah, that is.
We're not candy coating anybody's It's fair.
Yeah, nobody even asked for like the double down. I'd gotten the first part, Shane. You're a little loose with the little Vienna sausages this morning.
Getting a little loose with it.
I'm gonna need you to go ahead and chill out.
TK says, good job breaking the stereotypes, Robbie. Most people that look
that's
like
right.
me
That's
are pretty
right.
good with technology.
Right.
My
Hey,
dad
I used to ask
included.
you random computer questions.
You did, and I was like, dude, I literally don't know what's happening here.
So I think the best of my tech savvy people that I spend time around is probably Ben McLaughlin.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Like and I mean I've had some doozies.
And that's
I've had a waterproof thing that I couldn't get to shut off on my phone.
Oh,
I've
really?
had well, he brought my TweetDeck back once.
Nice.
He connected some things that were Bluetoothian.
The headphones or the AirPods.
Yeah, and he also unlocked something else on my computer. I can't remember. Like I just give it to him. I toss in my phone or I toss in my computer or whatever.
You've done that to me before, and I just look at you like,
yeah, I know. And then, well, the thing that bugs me about that is more in myself.
okay.
Because all you end up doing is Googling.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, fudge, I could have done that.
I think people think I'm way more tech savvy than I am because I'm not. I'm really not.
Yeah. You know,
My dad's 80, and I have to call him to help me with stuff.
oh, he still got it?
Oh, yeah. He still works full
I
time.
thought, don't you mean the little squiggly? Like it means roughly or approximately when you say 80?
yes.
Generally
yeah, in the neighborhood.
Give or
Yeah.
take.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're not.
I said my mom's wrong age once.
We're not
the other day,
totally
and
sure.
she checked me in a hurry.
Did she?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Did you age her up or down?
I aged her up.
Oh, well, that's a mistake.
1 year. I mean,
That's a mistake. You can't.
are you kidding me?
WBD. It's a big deal.
I do feel after like a certain age, it's like, who cares?
She did bail me out yesterday, though. Ooh.
What happened?
So I was on my way to get Ryder from daycare, and inexplicably my 12-volt check battery
Oh.
light comes on and tells me to pull over at the safest place immediately.
Oh.
So I'm like, huh.
Were you like, fudge?
That's fudge. I actually did say that.
I wasn't totally making fun. Like that seems like a place for you.
I actually did say that, and I'm like, "Are you kidding me?"
Mm-hmm.
And I'm under the gun too, because I had to get Ryder back to the house, and so I'm like, "Fudge, what do I do?" So of course, the nearest place, right off the old, because her provider's on 168th and Fart.
Oh.
And so I get off, I pull into my mom's driveway. I'm like, hey, I'm probably talking fast. She's like, what the heck? Which was weird because she needed help emptying her shredder.
Okay.
And I had lots of questions because she texted me. She's like, hey, can you come help me? So I was like, oh, okay, sure.
Mm-hmm.
So she's in the office and she wants to empty the shredder without getting the paper everywhere.
Yeah.
So I'm like, she goes, what do you do with all your bills and mail and stuff? And I go, tear them up and throw them away. And she goes, you don't have a shredder at home? I go, no, Mom. I mean, is that common in households, is having a shredder?
Oh.
And she goes, well, I shred all my documents. If they find me, they find me, but it won't be because I was irresponsible. I'm like, that's what you use this for? But anyway.
I think it's the people of a certain age. My parents have a shredder as well.
Oh my gosh.
I think it's
I did used to watch my dad cut up credit cards.
Yeah. I think it's like people that didn't grow up with the internet or that were a little older when the internet came around aren't as willy-nilly about their information like we are, because we're all just like, it's all out
I
there.
do think she just started online banking like 4 years ago.
Yeah, my dad still will not do it.
Yeah. And I think my mom's by necessity just because she didn't want to drive to the bank all the time.
Yeah.
Can you take me to bank such and such?
Yeah.
Sure. But anyway, so I'm like, hey, use your car real quick. Do you mind? No, I don't even think I said I made myself sound better than I was. I was panicking. I'm like, I'm in a gots-to-go situation. And she called when I was in the car, and she goes, well, I have AAA. I can call. I was like, sweet.
Yeah, that's a game changer.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And so she called. I was on my way back to the house, and she's like, yeah, AAA came. They said it was your serpentine belt. And the guy said it pretty much controls everything. So I'm going to have it towed over to Keith's. I'm like, who's
Keith?
That's what I wanted to say. But I wasn't trying to prolong the conversation anymore because I was already stressed, right? I'm like,
trying to go get Zoe.
Yeah, man. And I'm trying to get rid of that vehicle anyway.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, hey, tell Keith's. Just got to be good enough to get back. That's it. So I'm awaiting on the bad news as we speak. On
the dollar amount? Dude, isn't that the worst?
Your boy can't win for losing.
Isn't that the worst?
No, I actually can lose a lot. So I am waiting with a bated breath.
I hate that.
Me too.
You like take the car in and you have no idea what's wrong with it.
Do you expect me to have anxiety right now? I'm doing my best.
You're doing pretty good, honestly.
I did my best, but I guess my best wasn't good enough. So here we are back where we were before.
I don't know.
We're back to being strangers. You should Shazam that. No, I'm kidding.
I was just gonna Google it.
No,
I wasn't gonna Shazam your voice.
I think it's just us, or just once, or I've sang it before. I think it's Jeffrey Osborne.
James Ingram.
Him too. God, I get the light-skinned crooners all confused.
Just once is James Ingram. I don't know if that's the right one or not.
T-Mac would be very disappointed. Although he's younger than me, he may not be familiar with old James.
Yeah, it looks like I did my best, but I guess my best wasn't good enough.
Yeah, that's him.
Wyatt knows about Keith, by the way, as it says on the thing there. 90th and Fort.
Correct.
It's, according to what Wyatt says.
Dude, Wyatt is a walking Rolodex. Wyatt hooked me up in about 5 seconds yesterday.
What do you do? What do I do?
He goes, yeah, give me a sec. Get right back to you. And it literally was less than like 48 seconds. I needed a GIF, a GIF, and this dude can Photoshop.
Oh, did he like make the GIF?
Yeah.
Oh man.
No, I mean like turned it around in a hurry.
Yeah.
I was like, dang, we do need to hang out more. But I don't know. I'm terrified of his daughters, and I have a bad one of my own.
What's Wyatt doing over at 90th and Fort?
Wyatt has range.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, don't let him.
Oh, he says it was a meme, not a GIF. GIFs move.
Okay.
I'm just saying, so GIFs move.
Jeez, Wyatt, lighten up,
Meme.
Alice. It's a meme, not a GIF.
I'm just trying to clarify.
I was accused of being the semantics police the other day too, so I get it.
They're different. That's all.
Yeah, whatever.
I mean, you know.
So yeah, I am. I'm trying to make it. The kickball game may be in jeopardy.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah, and I actually said yes right away.
Did you?
Yeah, I don't know how Sasha asked because it wasn't her voice; it was text.
Okay.
And she's like, "Hey, do you want to?" I think she's worried about me. She's like, "I need to get this dude around some people."
Some people that aren't named me.
Yeah. Yeah. How about you hammer this ball with your foot? Is that good for aggression? So
it could be.
Yeah, I'd probably tear my quad in half. So I was like, oh yeah. And CG like texted me right away.
Oh, did he?
He's like, yeah, welcome to the winning team. I was like, yes, somebody competitive. You know, because you scared me. I did want to like hammer a 50 course softball on Sunday nights.
Yeah.
When you told me you're like an F rec, they would be so mad at you if I played.
No, they wouldn't, because there's people in that league that do not belong in that league. There's a team, I swear to you. Okay, I've been sitting on this for a while.
You're going Kevin Suits on me where we just tee up.
Yeah.
He's done that two
a couple times in a
segments
row.
Yeah, good on
So
Suits.
there is a team out there. We are in a 2-homer rule league. After 2, it's outs. Almost no one gets to the 2, right? There's a team in this league that has been playing together for 7 or 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
And they've won the league like 7 or 8 years in a row. And I'm like, at what point is this stop being fun for you? They run rule everybody.
Yeah.
They're the guys that like, so the guy will hit a homer first, and then he'll hit just a piss missile to right field going oppo.
Mm-hmm.
Like they know they know where the ball's going.
Yeah, I'm kind of that dude.
Which is great because we need some of those dudes because these other people are trotting them out there. And like, you don't belong in that league, man. Knock it off. And then I swear to God, there was a dude.
This is like a 50-cent piece. This isn't even a quarter.
Dude, there was a dude that he hit a homer and then he took a walk the next at bat, and like they're close.
Oh yeah, I'm
a walk guy.
I would come just to razz those guys.
Kenny let him have it.
K Bizzle?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that dude can run it.
He's standing over there at third base.
Super nice.
Oh,
but his level of snark,
the pettiness is high.
Is next level.
Pettiness is high,
and he's bright too.
Yeah.
So he can like.
Oh, he's quick.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
My man
can process.
If you're a dude and you walk, you get 2 bases.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And so Kenny's playing third, and he's just popping off, and he goes, I can't imagine taking a walk in this league. Like he said it like 4 times.
That would be like KB like playing flag football and like spinning the rock after he cooks a dude. Right? Ooh, big man on K. See, and what I tell you was my biggest fear.
What's that?
I didn't want to be that guy. Now, I still wouldn't act like that.
And also,
but I can't. It's not like I'm not going to not hit the ball hard.
For sure.
But I mean, I have 3 bats in my bat bag. You know,
I get it.
That's a little extra.
I totally get it. But because as a team, we haven't played together much, and a lot of our players don't have a history in like baseball or softball. So we're just kind of playing together to be fun and have a team. You being there would help us a lot, but it wouldn't make us an annoying team to play.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we're out there to have fun and just be like a team.
Gotcha. He said, I've been sitting on this a minute.
I could not believe when they said that they've been playing together for 7 or 8 years, and the girls on the team have been playing together for like 15.
So we had
like, bro,
we had a nemesis like that.
Yeah,
their girls.
But you were playing in a competitive league.
Their girls were unreal.
Yeah.
It was totally
These girls
the difference.
raked.
Because when you play in a co-ed league, it's all about the.
If you've got girls that can rake,
all about the ladies.
It's crazy.
And I mean, they had some folks that could just they had a couple ladies that would hit bombs.
Dude, that's wild.
Oh yeah. Oh, bombs. And there were 2 back to back, and the second one was this. I think she's married now, so it's not Schnabel, but like Steph Schnabel, she was in education, so I knew her. I'm pretty familiar with her background because her mom was a bigwig at Omaha on campus for education. And so we'd known the family forever. And I mean, they could just flat out rake.
It's wild.
I'm like, what is going on? Just no gimmies.
Yeah.
They'd score, and it was pretty competitive because we were okay.
Yeah.
But they had our number. But I mean, I sometimes used to shake my head. So I think that's going to leave that one left.
Sure did. I just don't understand. Like, if you're
listen, when I'm playing in that, sometimes I played short, sometimes I played outfield. It just depended on what we thought was going to happen with the teams. And I didn't change where I played at all, depending on who was up.
Yeah, because I could just rake.
Yeah.
Yeah. This team,
I got to play it honest.
The girls on this team were hitting just like frozen ropes.
As Coach Olson would say, hard 7, hard 8. Hey, soft 9. I just meant bring the right fielder. That's what I was thinking in my head. That's funny. You play with teams like that,
dude. It's wild. And listen, do whatever you want. It's fine. But if you're,
do you get pitchers that like deke you?
Not really deke, but we do have pitchers that'll throw like different stuff. They've started quick pitching me a lot.
Hey, that's tough. That's tough.
Like a lot.
Just hold your hand up.
Yeah. Well, I'm still getting hit, so I haven't called for time yet.
Listen, your boy. And I'd be in the box.
I'm not trying to take a long time. I just kind of want to do a couple of these before I'm ready. And they start quick pitching me a lot.
God, you're playing in that league, huh?
I am. So
that's funny.
It's kind of like if I'm that team, I just don't know how it's fun for me anymore. Like, I feel like we're at the proper level in terms of what our skill and ability is and experience. I don't know how it's fun for that team. They haven't lost a game, and I don't think they've had a competitive game in like 4 years. Like, they just run rule everybody. We held them to like 14, and that was, I think, their lowest.
You're adapted.
That was their lowest score of the season.
That's crazy.
They're putting up like high 20s on people, man.
Yeah, I'd probably rather wait on getting the serpentine belt than play against those. I'm not built for that.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe I am now because I'm old.
Maybe.
But I certainly wouldn't come across as 50.
No.
Like, I try to be.
Yeah. I think you would. I think people would be surprised.
So immediately after I was done texting with Gorman, I was like, Googling.
Yeah.
Achilles preventative measures.
You seem too much Haliburton on your brain, man?
Well, it's flooding my timeline.
Because everybody's trying to figure out why.
I don't know what I did. I must have been like researching. And I don't know if it's everywhere. I've seen more Achilles images.
Yeah.
With tissue and connective tissue and I'm like, gosh, do I need to start over?
Yeah.
But it's whatever.
The
Wyatt Nolan Keys, that's about as shocking as that dude. He stays on it. I'm different today because I can actually read what's going on in the stream.
I know, that's helpful. That's good. Although I was impressed. Like, it's hard to do a show without a laptop.
Yeah.
Like, that's pretty challenging.
I embrace it.
You're competitive.
Nobody can
and
do
I
that.
memorized the rundown.
Did you?
I always do.
Do you?
Yeah.
I don't even memorize the rundown. I write it.
I can tell because a couple of the slots never change.
No, I just like repeating them.
Oh, okay.
Like, if we didn't get to something and I think it's kind of like an evergreen topic, I'll throw it back in there.
A pardon?
An evergreen? Like, it stays good?
Okay. It makes sense.
Yeah.
Never use the term.
Oh, really?
No, it makes
I don't think I made it up.
I don't. Do I strike you as it's an evergreen? Is that in my repertoire?
Listen, I don't like to make stereotypical judgments about people.
Evergreens are gold.
That's all you do. What are we talking about? That's all you do.
Listen, I ate a joke yesterday because I thought it might be too far.
Was it racial?
Yes.
Oh, so
it was after you made the fried chicken joke.
So was that over? Yeah. So T-Mac and I were speculating over what was coming.
What the joke was?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I ate it. I don't. So
we thought it. I mean, what he suggested, but I was like, no, he wouldn't say that.
What did he?
And I was like,
what did he
I guess you
suggest?
never know.
I am wrapped.
I mean,
in
he
a giant...
Yeah.
Can you?
He did say mule. You said a lot.
Listen, Mules and Jewels. I was trying to bring us together. That was about us.
That's not what you were trying.
That's
to
100% what I was trying to do.
That's not what you were trying to do.
It's like being oppressed by the man. Being oppressed by the man. Handshake meme.
Our lawyer friend is educating us on something you already know.
Oh yeah,
he's pulling a Ravi.
He's pulling a Steven. Well, actually,
I would guess the age disparity would give me the nod to Steven, but TK is relentless, and he should have been born in the 60s. So their aptitude may be similar. The experiences are not.
For sure. Yeah, life experiences are different. I think
Todd has a lot of that in him
personality,
too, but he's funny.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't come across as Encyclopedia Britannica.
Oh, yeah.
You know, DJ's like that.
Yeah. Kind of make it a little snarky.
But he's funny.
Yeah.
And that Rolodex is pretty broad.
Yeah.
But the funniest one.
Which one?
That is a cross between Steven and TK is definitely Ken E.
Oh. Kenny is kind of funny.
Dude's nuts.
He is. He's out there.
For a guy that can explain insurance claims and products and comps and then turn around and say.
I think he's a lawyer too.
Is he?
I think so. I think he's got a law degree at least. That's what he said in the chat.
Shoot.
If I'm remembering right.
I don't know. This is a good distraction until the.
I will say.
Until the what do you call the people? The mechanics.
Oh.
He said, "Oh, don't take it to the dealership, man. You'll get killed."
To the mechanics call.
I was like, "Yeah, I probably will." It's not.
Well, I'm hoping they can get it right in this morning, so you can get it back right away.
Yeah, Shane. How long was yours in the shop?
I believe when I had it done, it was when we were at the other place. Took it over there before work, and I didn't get it back until like 4 or 5. So it's like it's like an all day thing.
No, I mean the one where you didn't have it for like months.
Well, that was different, but I didn't have that for like 2 months. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the nightmare scenario.
I got to go to Blair, so at some point this afternoon, a confidant.
Oh.
Yeah. So, I mean, what's putting another 35 miles on my mom's 28,000 mile car?
I think it can handle it. She doesn't use that thing a lot.
I looked at the odometer yesterday. I'm like, this is ridiculous.
Oh, Kenny is a lawyer. Yeah. TK confirmed. I don't know why TK knows. Maybe they've offline.
Okay, well, what doesn't TK?
Maybe they've offline discussed this.
TK,
or maybe he just paid
TK dimed out Schaefer yesterday.
Did he? Oh, I saw that on Twitter.
He just dimed him out, man. I was like, TK, you can't just be telling on Mike J.
No, you can't.
Really?
Stay petty, TK. Stay petty.
Life is too hard to be like that.
No, TK's looking out for the show. I like that.
Okay.
TK's a ride or die with the program.
All right. Shout out you, TK.
Yeah, we like that. We got loyalty. Loyalty inside my DNA.
That is Kendrick.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
That's what we're on this morning. You know why I didn't make the joke? It's not because I Mike myself.
Are you going back to this? You want to say it so bad?
No, I don't. It's because I didn't think it was funny enough for the risk.
Oh, the whole outcome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I like that. That's your business too. Risk analysis.
Like if it had nothing to do with the fact that I thought I'd get in trouble, I was like, it's not funny enough in case I do get in trouble. Because
if you're not going out like Willie Lump Bump, huh?
If it's funny enough, I will say anything. Like if I think the joke is there, nothing will stop me.
You realize it's dangerous to be your own benchmark in terms of humor.
I know.
I mean, we might not all share it.
That's the thing, though. It doesn't have to be funny to you. If it's funny enough to me, I'll go full send.
If you ever want to know about your personality, just listen to this last 12 minutes. I mean, you're just telling on yourself.
Oh, no, I know. This is what I like, self-awareness, right? I mean,
just flat out telling on you. Shane, what's the coding that he's wrapped in? I'm just curious. Because I believe it. Well, apparently T-Mac knows it too. Yeah.
I am wrapped in a giant candy shell of being a dick. Yeah. No, that's accurate.
I'm glad you said it.
Self-awareness is important. I like it.
Hey, as we got to get ready to take a break because we're going to have Coach Manning on. I'll ask Coach Manning because he's kind, so he'll let me off the hook. But I'm struggling with a couple of facets of this new wrestling phenomenon.
Really?
I kind of feel like a gatekeeper.
It sounds like you're being a gatekeeper.
Dude, the Johnny
Are you going to be mad at me if I go watch AJ Ferrari next year?
No. Because I think you want to get into wrestling.
Yeah, I just don't really have like the
I just
reference.
don't like opportunists.
I have a feeling I know where this is coming from.
I'm just saying, just generally speaking.
You see like a TikTok video that you didn't
I
love?
didn't see anything. I don't know why you're trying. Listen, man, leave the dry snitching to the kids, okay? And Thunder Collins, all right? Wow.
We're going to talk to wrestling coach Mark Manning coming up next.
It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great, especially like with the team this year. You know, we're very unique. A lot of shooting from top of the roster to the bottom, guards to bigs. You know, just talking to him and just gonna say, I know how he plays. He knows how I play. So we're just kind of conversating about how it's good to be back and playing with each other. So.
What did you miss about Nebraska?
Man, just good people, culture. I think culture is a big thing in basketball. Like I said, just so many great people in the community. When I came back, everybody just showing love and, just not bugging me about leaving or whatever. They just all welcome me back. It's been good.
A successful financial future is built one coin at a time. Whether you're just starting out or a seasoned saver, we've got the financial resources and team of experts who will be with you every step of the way. Centris Federal Credit Union. We are where you are.
I'm excited. I'm really excited for this year. We got a lot of really good dudes on and off the court. The coaches did a really good job of getting the right people in the locker room. Like you said, I've only been with them for a couple of weeks now, but I was with almost everybody, at almost every dinner on visits. And as soon as I saw them, I was able to meet them. And honestly, it sounds cliche, but when my dog met him, just the way that she reacted to him, it kind of gave me a good indicator of what this team was going to be like. And so I'm really excited for what we got in this locker room.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Centris Federal Credit Union. That's DB. I'm Ravi, Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. We are joined now by your head wrestling coach for Nebraska, Mark Manning. Coach, how are you this morning?
Doing well, guys. How you guys doing?
We are hanging in there. We're in the middle of like this torrential downpour that basically came out of nowhere.
Like a snap. It was wild.
It was really sunny. And I should have known because there was a rainbow over West Side this morning at the high school. And I was like, oh, today may be a good day. But it's that ominous weather when you get the rainbow. And it is pouring here now. How are things with you?
Going well. Well, we had that that about a half an hour ago. Come through Lincoln. So, yeah.
All right.
We're doing well, though.
Little west to east, actually.
I guess we're right on time here, Coach. Hey, I wanted to start off here. You've had a pretty busy off season, I think is a nice way to put it. Have you had time to kind of collect, take a breath? I know you're trying to put together a great roster for next year. What's the off season been like for you so far? I don't think we've talked to you since Nationals.
Man, hasn't really been a break so far. We're just finishing up with our camps. We have camps going on the last 2 weeks. So we finish up with camps tomorrow, and that'll seem maybe like a little bit of a break going into the 4th of July. So we're looking forward to that day. But it's just been hectic. I think with the new format of college athletics, with raising money for NIL and the portal, it just brings a whole different element to coaching these days.
Coach, I've been wondering, has your kind of breakthrough success at Nationals, what's the interest been like in your program from transfers, younger guys, NIL, like you were talking about? Like, how has that sort of changed the, I guess, conversation people have about Nebraska wrestling?
Yeah, it's exploded. It's taken us to a whole new level. I mean, really, the year before we finished 9th. We were really one match away from really being national runners up back-to-back years. So we knew we had a good team last year. It's really elevated it as far as, a lot of transfers want to talk to us, but at the end of the day, we're really choosy on who we're going to take, and we got to take the right people. And, it's interesting conversations these days, with young men when you get on the phone with them and they're enamored with, hey man, I really love to join your program. And, but when it gets time talking about the elements of that and the principles that our program's founded on, and then what they want, it becomes, all about money.
Mm-hmm.
and so, those are not the guys that are going to work out with us. We're going to reward our guys, but we want guys that love the sport, they're going to work hard and want to be part of a great team. And so, it's always fascinating to have conversations with these guys that, we're just looking for the right kind of people,
God, it's fascinating. Selfishly, full disclosure, one of the reasons that I wanted to have you on this week is I knew the camp was going on. And how many states do you have represented? 10, 11, 12, 15? How many states do you think you have represented?
I think it's 15 or 16 states.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, we have about 1,200 kids in this week.
And so there was that, right? I wanted to talk about that. And then, there's this thing selfishly that I want to do where, and I never know how you're really going to be with it just because of your personality, and it's not going to be financially driven, but I do want awareness, right, for NIL opportunities and exposure, and to make sure that you can kind of get your message out. Because I do trust you remind me a lot of Coach Rule in this regard, where I know you're going to spend wisely. You're high character guy. Your culture isn't going to take on more water than your boat can withstand. I get all that, but Coach, there's this part of me, and you got to talk me off the ledge, where I've loved you for so long, and kind of what you're doing in the program. I almost found myself kind of wanting to gatekeep the sport, where it's like, hey, you guys weren't wrestling guys before this. Why are you all of a sudden in on wrestling, right? Like, I'm kind of protective.
Yeah.
But I do want the sport to grow. So just let me know that I'm okay with that philosophy, or I'm not. One of the two.
Nah, you're great, Damon. That's great, man. I appreciate you, and we go long back. a long time back, knowing your dad and what an impactful element he had on UNO wrestling and our sport as a whole, and Omaha and all the young men that he impacted. It's really, really cool.
So it's okay to be protective, but still want to grow this. Okay, I just want to know. But so walk me kind of through this, because your culture is one in which it's held in high regard. I was at a restaurant in Lincoln, and I happened to see Coach Snyder, and he was a little preoccupied. And for once, it was me that didn't want to go over to somebody else and interrupt their dinner, right? A lot of times it happens to me.
Yeah,
so I was very cognizant, but my mom was such a fan. She wanted me to tell Coach Snyder to give you a message, which I thought was weird, but I mean, it's my mom, so it's like you do it. But just the buzz, right? He's got Nebraska wrestling gear on, and you can see the tables kind of, they're whispering and they're pointing. He's a good-looking guy. He had the horn-rimmed glasses, rocking in the perfect hair, and it's just like this thing has taken off unbelievably. But how have you not compromised what it is that the core of who you are?
Yeah, I just think gets back to what we really preach to our guys. You got to manage adversity, and you got to manage prosperity, and you don't get too far ahead of yourself. As we know, sports can just hammer you in the gut too, right? And send you back another level, and you just keep it in perspective, and really keeping our guys hungry, knowing that there's more out there for them. And these guys are young guys, and you have a guy like Antrell Taylor. I did a camp with him out of state about a month ago together, and I introduced him. I said, people will talk about Antrell Taylor as the defending national champion. I said, he's not defending anything. He's already got that trophy. He's trying to get another one. And I said, but people make it out to put a lot of pressure on people to say, he's the defending national champion. You beat the defending national champion, or he is the defending national champion. He doesn't have to defend anything. He's already won it. He owns it. He'll own it forever. Now it's about him taking a step forward and keep growing, rather than he's not defending anything. And when you're defensive, you tighten up. People feel pressure, and we want to keep our guys growing in the area of just knowing that they have more in front of them, and to keep jumping levels, mentally and physically. So it's kind of our program. You're going to grow mentally, physically, and then spiritually. And if you're not doing that, you're holding yourself back to what what the best version of yourself is. And so we constantly preach that, and we're doing it this summer, and our guys are very, they're very aware that, there's a lot of recognition, but there's still a lot in front of us. And that's what I love about these guys, man. It's really, really cool to see, whether it's Jacob Van D or Cam McDaniel, Christopher Mento, Antrell. I mean, what a Brock Hardy. They're just tremendous human beings, man. And they, they're working every day.
Yeah.
They're putting in the work this summer, and it's really, really cool. And I know so many fans are proud of them, and they feel that, and they get this from all the coaches that are here at our camps. And it's really neat to have all these coaches from different parts of the country coming up to them and talk about how they're watching them on BTN, and it's really cool.
Coach, let me ask you about the competitive culture in terms of what you want in your wrestling room, because you're getting ready to bring in some guys, and you already have a really competitive spirit. Obviously, your wrestle-offs and those things are, you got a chance to be really deep. You get young, spirited guys like Ziola, who I've watched almost half his life. Just, I know what kind of energy is coming. I've seen Antrell. I know that energy. How do you level off competitive spirit, or do you try to just almost like the fireplace reference, right? You know that it's good in the fireplace, it's not so good in the forest. Like, is that kind of your lesson with the competitive spirit that you're willing to take on in your wrestling room?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I think iron sharpens iron. You
and sometimes you get some sparks.
Yeah, that's right. You're gonna have a little pushback once in a while, and that's the great thing, But you have to stay realistic with it. It's just wrestling. It's just sports. People get worked up, and I know I was when I was a young buck, and so you got to keep it in perspective, and work with it in the right mindset. Everyone wants to win a practice, or everyone wants to be the big dog, and we want to keep having big dogs, and so got to keep it in perspective and make sure we're teaching guys how to have the right character, how to be the right champion. Right? People talk about champions, but you got to be a champion in the right way. Sometimes, you're going to take, you're going to get beat. You're going to take a loss, but no one wants that to happen. But you got to be able to manage that. You got to be able to have the right character, because at the end of the day, no one wants a champion that ends up being a jerk and doesn't treat people with respect and win in the right way. And I think, that's an element of what we want to produce in our program. And I think that's what Nebraska loves about, our guys.
Coach, you're kind of teeing me up here for my next question. We've talked a lot about competitiveness and culture and character and winning the right way. And I think the question a lot of people have is they see from the outside, like a guy like AJ Ferrari that maybe comes off a certain way publicly, right? How do you weigh kind of his public persona versus how you got to know him with the relationship as you recruited him, and understanding whether or not he was a good fit for all those things we've talked about this morning about what Nebraska wrestling's about?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a good question.
It's Mark Manning has a challenge, right?
I love it. Third person, let's go.
Absolutely. Hey, I know how people are thinking, and I think it's the same thing. And Rob Cole, I'll tell you how this thing happened. Rob Cole, I'll be very frank and public about it.
Yeah, you're a good man, Coach. We love it.
And Rob Cole, the North Carolina coach who I've known for 35 years, and a great friend of mine, called me up when they didn't let AJ into the school at North Carolina, and AJ was already there training some, and they didn't let him in admission-wise, and for various reasons.
Yeah.
And Bill Belichick's girlfriend had something to do with that. But anyway,
Coach, I think people think you're joking.
Yeah, no, it's very serious. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
One of the elements, along with the men's basketball player that had a sexual assault the week before, and just a lot of drama, I think, for that chancellor. And Rob was like super disappointed. Spent a lot of time getting AJ there, but they weren't going to let him into school. So
wow.
So he called me up and said, "Hey, Mark, you got a great team, and you should get AJ Ferrari." And I would have never really thought about that until, Rob, my friend and guy I have a lot of respect for, and he convinced me, and then off we went. So, and we got it done, and he's here, and we're trying to manage him each and every day. So he's a good kid at heart, and we're trying to make him part of our team and get him to fit into our program right now. So it's a great challenge, and he wants to win. We just got to make sure he's on the same track each and every day that we are.
Coach, I love it. I had a little inkling. I said when this first happened, I didn't really know. Just I don't know how I put two and two together, but I said, I was absolutely sure it was going to be a North Carolina thing, and this kind of came out of nowhere. I appreciate you connecting the dots. But one of the things that and it's all in one, that I'm enamored with you is just watching you for so long, how you've balanced your path is your path, right? You walk the same way every day, but yet you're not afraid to take on a speed bump or a little detour, but you're always going to get right back on your path, right? So you'll take on some things that to the naked eye may be like, well, why?
Yes.
But it's almost like it helps you continue to be a lifelong learner and grow. And also what I think a lot of people don't know about you is like, that's your purpose, right? that AJ kind of represents your why in terms of what you do. So it seems to make more sense than it maybe just would on the surface.
Yeah. And I think, it gets to the core of what God has out there for us. Everyone sins. No one's perfect. No one's perfect out there in the world. And when people realize, not to be too judgmental, and it's easy to be judgmental, and we've all done it. And but this young man, he was never charged with anything, and yes, he's made mistakes. Absolutely, I'm not defending that at all. But this young man's he's a good person. He's got a good heart, and that's our path. Absolutely. I talked to a number of people before we went down that rabbit hole, and Coach Osborne being one, and so it's you seek advice, and we're on that journey with him right now. So it's going to be fun, and it's it's a challenge getting him fit in when it's 4 years ago I recruited him.
Yeah, so, I was going to, and I let a few people know it's not the first time that he'd been on campus, and I think it's pretty cool to have a relationship there. But did you wake up and think just a month later that some other guys would be decommitting from programs, and all of a sudden you're back in their top three? Like when you say you haven't rested, like this stuff just it just keeps happening, but it's for a reason, right? You're ready to embrace that.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I know the young man you're talking about, and yeah, we're in deep, and it's it keeps you. It keeps the coffee going, man.
Well, that's nothing the Twins don't get you revved up for, is it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Oh.
It's good, and it's you don't this day and age of college athletics, you got to stay on your toes, because the transfer portal, and then the junior recruiting. That's what people don't understand, the junior recruiting. What I mean by that, and when I can contact a young man June 15th going into their junior year, well, you're recruiting juniors, and then you're recruiting seniors, and you're trying to manage a roster of, right now for me, it's 30. Football, it's 105. It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. And so, young men don't sign till their senior year. November, your senior year. And so there's a lot of people change their mind from when you're 16 to when you're going into being 18 years old, and to keep a commitment that long, things happen, and people are living their life and making mistakes, and
yeah,
it's just a whole different element than 4 or 5 years ago, when there wasn't a cap on sports. Baseball being 34. So it's a lot of decision making you're trying to make when you're putting together a roster, and when you're taking a chance on young men and young women out there, and then just, do I take a junior? Can we hold on to this commitment? Is what type of character is that young man? And because you're bypassing a lot of other kids.
Coach,
when someone makes a commitment. Commitment's not signed.
Yeah.
When someone's signed, you got them locked down until there's a transfer portal open up. but, that's kind of the reality, And so you get what you inspect, not what you expect sometimes.
Wow.
And so
that's a T-shirt. That's a T-shirt. That's a T-shirt.
And so you got to do your due diligence, and just staying engaged and making sure you get what you get.
Coach, I love the fact I get a chance to ask you this question, because you can kind of Rolodex this with me, because I followed the sport for so long. If you kind of have some comps that you're willing to share, but I brought up Ziola a few minutes ago, and a guy that I've watched kind of grow, literally evolve, and just kind of his techniques, right? How he just kind of stays on the gas, and I would always talk about his length, and how he could head snap and ankle pick almost in the very same sweeping motion, right? And the degree of difficulty that he makes that thing look very, very easy to do. When you watch him and kind of watch his style in high school and know that his frame he's still growing, ridiculously strong. Do you have some comps for me, like when you watched him and you're kind of evaluating his style?
Yeah.
No lofty expectations. So, I get I get the context.
Well, number one, Cade's just a tremendous kid.
Oh, yeah.
We inspected, and we like what we expected and inspected, and there's 4 other guys came in with Cade here a few weeks ago for Summer Bridge, and how Caleb was when he came. They're right embedded right into your program. They start working out with you. You see them every day, all the time, and Cade's just high character. We knew that, and it's just great being around that all the time. So he adds to the culture that we want to continue to build, and he has the right mentality. But he's got some freakish physical skills.
Right.
That
I didn't want to use that word, but that length and strength and flexibility is kind of freaky.
Yeah, absolutely. My good friend John Blake, you remember John Blake?
Oh yeah.
And John lived with me when he was first came with Bill Callahan, and I love him. He coach, you got to get the Mandingo Warrior, man. You got to get the man. And he said, and he said, Coach, and that's what Cade is. He's a little bit, he's going to be better and better, like what you mentioned, Damon, when he fills out and gets, he's getting man muscles right now, we call it, but he was so long. It was just long, but filling it out, how he matures, he's going to turn into a great heavyweight. We're super excited because he doesn't do he does a lot of athletic and a lot of skills that he's developed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as a smaller guy and at the heavyweight position, and you know, just a lot of heavyweights don't move like him, and he's good on top, and you know, he's a great kid, and we just think the world of him. He's just going to keep getting better and better in our program. We're really excited about it.
The competitive energy in that room. I mean, I don't know if there's such a thing as too much testosterone, but man, some of those like you got a lot of it. You got a lot of competitive juice in that room. Yeah,
we do, and you know what? It just starts with their character. You know, we just got the right young men, and you know, Silas Allred and Antrell and Brock Hardy and Cam McDaniel, like I mentioned. You know, it's just. And Christopher Minto, what a gem, man! What a gem.
I'm expecting. There's a couple guys that are kind of off the radar, but on the radar that I'm excited about and see how they grow. Minto's definitely one of them.
Yeah, man, we knocked it out of the park with that young man, man. What a super young man. And you know, people could see what these guys are doing at camp, you know, and we assign them to different groups to work with, and then to teams, and they, you know, they're reffing matches, man, how they treat these kids and coaches. It's first class. And it's just, I'm really proud of that when we're putting on these camps, and you know, it's just great to see what they're doing and how they conduct themselves and how they teach, and you know, they're not too full of themselves.
Coach, appreciate your time, man. Always awesome. And now I know we all definitely need to go out and just be better people.
So Coach, I got the $1 million question, and maybe you don't want to spoil it for us. Will you or will you not allow the splits to happen after AJ's first win? All right, like that's what the people want to know.
I can't say it'll never happen, because I'm not in his mind right there all the time. But that was one of the things when we put the graphic and is committed when he signed. I said, AJ, you know, here's a couple of choices of what your picture is going to look like, but you're going to join 6 other All-Americans. You're joining the team. This is not just about you.
That is
this
awesome.
Is when we put something out, this is about you joining a program that's trying to do something that's never been done, and it's special. This is moments not just about you; it's about us. And you know, maybe 25 years ago, I was a young whippersnapper then, and I wouldn't have had the cojones to say that to him, but I did. I had no problem telling him that, and this is how we're going to do this, you know, because you're
Coach. You've never not had cojones. That's awful humble. That's incredible.
So I'll look for the splits after you win the Natty. That's what I heard. You might have to be careful of those cojones if you try and do the splits, Coach.
I might do a triple Lindy with the split.
Oh, Lord.
Coach, appreciate the time. As always, great stuff. We will talk to you again soon. All right.
We'll see you, Coach.
Thanks, guys. You have a great
got
day.
it.
That's Nebraska wrestling coach Mark Manning. You won't get anything like that anywhere else.
Dude, he's just I'm so appreciative he lets us talk to him like that. And he felt like it was a safe spot for him to tell the AJ story. I think that's an incredible backstory. Incredible backstory.
And he doesn't know me like that, so I appreciate him giving me a little grace there.
Oh, I'm the human black buffer.
Let's go. We'll be back. More Hurrdat Sports Live coming up next.
Aspirations can drive us. Sometimes a simple gesture is what fuels the pursuit of a dream. When it's time to make your dream a reality, We are here to help. Centris Federal Credit Union. We are where you are.
Marcus, what happened, it happened. Listen, everybody makes decisions these days, and you wish them all the best in their new journey. We certainly did that with Jamarcus when he went to Rhode Island, and he had some really good moments for that team. He was obviously a huge part of that, starting at the point guard. I think a team that won their first 13 or 14 games a year ago, and I think he really grew in his maturity playing that role. So, when he did go into the portal and we made contact with Jamarcus, he did talk about some things that he missed. And, I think a big thing that we did that prior year where he had a big role on a team that made the NCAA tournament, he wanted to bring this team back there again. And, yeah, he's just, like I said, he's grown in so many areas. I'm proud of him. And I think he's primed for a really good season. And, it's the other thing about this group, I love the depth that we have of this team. It's not going to make my job easy when it comes to rotations, but this is a deep team with Jamarcus, with Kendall, and we've got size. That's the other thing that that I've really liked about this group is the overall length.
Welcome to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Centris Federal Credit Union. That's DBM Ravi, Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill, reminding you there's live music every Friday at Hurrdat Sports La Vista and Hurrdat Sports Gretna. Make sure you check it out at either location. Joining us now is Rafael Barlowe. He covers the NFL draft, host of the NBA Big Board podcast. Rafael, how are you this morning?
I'm doing good. I'm exhausted. I didn't get back to the room till about 3 o'clock in the morning. Long subway ride. But other than that, man, I'm good.
I'm looking for some real analysis, man. I mean, no disrespect to the network covering it, but
a little rough. It was rough out there.
Oh, that was rough last night, Mr. Barlowe. So you're gonna have to come through for me, and help our listeners out. I want to start kind of off.
Bad?
Oh my goodness, it was pretty rough, man.
I was at the draft. So I didn't hear anything.
Yeah.
God bless you. You didn't miss anything. It was rough.
Hey, so it's kind of flying under the radar, and this is random, but I have to take advantage of your expertise. Walk me through what you think the Hawks are doing. I understand the fantastic move getting Porzingis kind of on the cheap, right? Boston obviously doesn't want to deal with the luxury tax, but then they trade down. They get Asa Newell, who most people kind of had as a fringe lottery pick. And then they get the unprotected first rounder quietly, man. Not a bad first run for Salah, right? As the Hawks' new GM.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I know coming into this offseason, there were two needs that they wanted to address, and that was size in the front court and a backup point guard. Well, so far they were able to add a lot of size in Porzingis at 7'4", and then Newell. I mean, I guess they still could address the need for a backup point guard, or maybe just hope that Kobe Buff can stay healthy. He was their first round pick 2 years ago. So it was an interesting draft for Atlanta, taking two bigs. But I had heard right before the draft that they were going to take Asa Newell, that he had a guarantee at 13. And when it didn't happen, I was like, oh, okay, well, that was smoke screen. But however, I guess they ended up getting the guy that they thought they wanted at 13, and they found that he was available later on in the first.
Rafael, I like doing analysis here and figuring out where we're smarter than NBA GMs, which I think is more often than people give it credit for. Because some of these guys, some of these guys.
Hey, listen, I have a little more humility than that, Rafael. I'm not. That's not me.
Some of these guys clearly don't know what they're doing. When you're looking at this draft, who's a pick that you're just like, I don't see it? I look at these guys. We watch college basketball a ton. Then I go into like my YouTube draft prep and start deep diving into guys' stuff. Like, who's the guy you were looking at that got drafted last night where you're just like, I don't see it?
I wouldn't say there's anybody individually, maybe just because I watch so many of these guys. But I do think sometimes whether a guy is successful and makes it or not has a lot to do with situation. So there's a couple situations where I'm like, oh, I don't know if this is the perfect fit. And when you think about it, these guys are 18 and 19 years old, and a lot of times the NBA is their first real adversity in basketball. And so if they go to the wrong situation, or maybe it's the GM wanted to play but the coach didn't, the coach doesn't play him, and then that can lead to a guy like just not maximizing his potential. So I can name a few situations from last night that I'm like, oh, I don't think that's the best fit to start off his career.
Yeah, who are those guys?
So for one, Colin Murray-Boyles going to the Raptors at 9. I thought that was shocking. Toronto was 29th in the NBA in three-pointers made, and they bring in an undersized big who doesn't space the floor at all. And they have a lot of wing depth, unless they want to play him as a small ball 5. But he's a guy that the analytics guys really, really like. But if you're more so of an eye test evaluator, he could be a little bit divisive. That's one. I thought that the Damon, actually just even Brooklyn's draft, simply because they drafted a lot of guys with overlapping skill sets. You could say 3 of their guys were point guards, that could be interesting considering that they took Damon at 8. They took Nolan Traore, Ben Saraf. I don't know how you're going to play all of those guys together and give them the best opportunity to develop and grow. So, just having 5 first-round picks is pretty rare in itself. But, again, just a lot of redundancy. Another one that comes to mind, my brother, he's a big Derek Queen fan. I just don't know about the Derek Queen fit in New Orleans.
God, we're in Big Ten country, man. He diced that conference up. As a below-the-rim guy, he was so skilled and crafty. He may be a guy you have to watch more in-game than just for a workout because his IQ is so high. I don't know if you see that or get that in a workout. You know what I mean?
Oh, 100%. He's not going to wow you with athleticism. He's not going to jump out the gym. But and you put 9 other guys on the floor, put some butts in the seats, and turn the lights on, that's when you're going to get the best out of Derek Queen. But, I like him. I really do. I just the fit with him and Zion is pretty interesting. I think it could either be something we say, wow, that's a great combination, or either it's something that we're just like, ooh, they don't space the floor enough. But it was an interesting pick by the Pelicans for sure.
So I guess we I don't know. I kind of feel like we should stay with New Orleans for a second. When you've got a couple of ball dominant guys with Zion, what do you think what do you think they're trying to achieve there? And could he be on the move at some point?
I don't know. Every summer, at least for the past 2 or 3 summers, it's been rumored, but they've stuck with him, and it's like just.
Do you get the Jordan Poole move?
Yeah. Just they need some offensive firepower. Jordan Poole is a guy that I just think he's unfairly targeted by fans. He had a good year in Washington last year. He did what the Wizards needed him to do. They weren't trying to win. So I don't know if it's fair to blame him for their losing. And he's proven that he can contribute on the championship team. And he shot 38% from three last year on 8 or 9 attempts per game.
Well, so what do you do with Fears and Poole? Guys that use the ball.
Well, Poole can play on or off the ball because he's such a good shooter. He proved that, in Golden State he could play in a role where he didn't have to dominate the ball.
I think Steph has a way of balancing you out.
But I mean, Jordan Poole, he played the exact same way off the bench. Like, there's a joke that says Jordan Poole plays like there's nothing but beautiful women in the front row, and he's gonna take the shot. So he played the same exact way. It's just one team was trying to win and the other team was trying to lose. I think he'll be fine. I mean, I think with his ability to shoot, they're going to need some offensive firepower, and I think him and Fears could actually play together. Just because Fears is such an aggressive downhill driver, and then Poole is a guy that shoots. So I think they can work out together.
Yeah.
Now, once DeJounte Murray comes back, then that's when it gets a little tricky.
Yeah, Fears is like a paint touch waiting to happen, right?
Yeah. Him and Zion together.
Can't throw in the ocean,
a lot
though.
of guys in foul trouble.
Rafael, okay, so who's the guy that you just absolutely loved throughout this draft process that maybe slid a little bit? I was, for whatever reason, loved Maluak. Didn't really feel like he slid. I felt like that was the right spot for him. I thought for me personally, I thought Kasper Jakinchunits was probably better than that 20 slot. Probably seemed like a lower teens guy to me. Was there a guy that you kind of had pegged? You're like, man, I really like him, and he slid down the draft a little bit?
Yeah, there's quite a few. Actually, I want to touch on Jakinchunits. I thought that his slide puts him in a really good spot.
Yes.
I'm not surprised that he fell. I mean, we're talking about a guy that had 24 turnovers in his last.
Yeah, that last month was horrible for him.
Yeah, and then he had just quite a few games where he had more turnovers than field goals made. So I'm not surprised that he fell, but I think it definitely benefits him. I'm trying to think who else fell that I was actually shocked.
What's kind of ironic about that, as you kind of think of another guy that fell, is I feel like if some of those same things had happened in Europe instead of Division I college basketball, we just brush them away.
Yeah, that's
we do that all the time with international prospects, but because Jakinchunits came and played here at Division I level, we go, there's guys getting drafted last night.
That's how I felt about Traore.
Yeah, it's like 5 points.
That dude's a human turnover
like 4.9
in France, right? But
yeah.
It's like, okay.
But I feel like Traore entered the season with top 5 buzz, and he just had a rough start to his season, which I think is expected just because he's a point guard. He's playing in in Europe, they're trying to win now. It's no developmental minutes. It's no okay, you got to play through your mistakes. Yeah. I mean, the games are intense. He got off to a rough start, and I just think it was held against him the whole season. So I think he could end up being a steal. But he's the same guy that gave Jakinchunits' team 45 points in the tournament last spring. So I like him a lot. I think he could be one of the guys that people overthought it just because he got off to a rough start as a 18-year-old playing professionally.
How good with what now goes around Wemby do you think San Antonio is capable of being? Because it seems like they have some very significant and good pieces. Long way to go, but man, they look good on paper. They need some depth, but I get the high end maybe.
They do. I just wonder, can Castle, Fox, and Harper all play together? Like, De'Aaron Fox is at best with the ball in his hands. He's a streaky shooter at best. Stephon Castle really took off when he had the ball in his hands in the second half of the season. And he proved at UConn that he can play off the ball. But Dylan Harper, I think, is best with the ball in his hands. So I don't knock what they did with their draft. I mean, you got to take the best player available. But I just wonder if of course there's no way to know, but if they knew that Dylan Harper was going to be their guy at number 2 prior to the trade deadline, would they have made a trade for De'Aaron Fox? But, I guess it's a good situation to have to where you have that much talent. And of course, when you take the best player available or you have that much talent, you can always move one of those guys for a pit that for a player that fits around Wembanyama. So I like what they're doing. I just don't know if they have enough shooting in the backcourt right now.
Are you more concerned about Harper and Fox and Castle playing together than you are about Fears and Poole?
Yeah, because the pressure is going to be on the Spurs to win, and they just don't have shooting. I mean, Harper shot 37% from three off the catch, but I think his best role is your engine. Stephon Castle really struggles as an outside shooter, and Fox has been up and down throughout his career, but he's more so of a rhythm guy, not necessarily a guy that is going to shoot off the catch. So I think it's going to be a work in progress, but I mean, you can't knock the talent what they have there.
So let me ask you about two teams kind of in comparison, because I think Barnes and Jalen Green kind of get lumped together just because of their age and level of consistency. So I'm going to start with Phoenix. When you talk about likes and playing styles, you got Beal and the fans are upset, and can Jalen Green play with Book and what's going to happen there. So I want to start with Phoenix. When you look at like parts kind of in the backcourt and in the wing area, can you see what Phoenix is trying to do?
No.
Yeah, see, but Green is still only 22. So is that where you think they're putting the hope in that the usage index and stuff like that they can tweak that as a facilitator?
Yeah, I mean, I just felt like they were kind of stuck because Kevin Durant was pretty much dictating where he was going to go in the trade. And I guess the Rockets were the only team that Phoenix could get a young player with a lot of upside available. I mean, with a lot of upside left. So he still has some untapped potential. I just think for Phoenix, this was the best young player that we could get in return. But, I mean, I just think that I just don't like the fit there. Obviously, with three guys that are shooting guards, man, I think Booker's an underrated passer. On one hand, you think that there's another move to be made. However, Booker's going to sign an extension. He just traded for Jalen Green and Bradley Beal, signed a no-trade clause, and he's going to make sure that he's going to do what's best for his family. He's not going to inconvenience his family for the sake of the team because he signed a no-trade clause. And the Suns knew that when they took him. So they're just going to have to find a way to make it work.
All right, so walk me through the kind of Scotty Barnes, Brandon Ingram. You got Grady Dick, R.J. Barrett. What do you see? What do you
Kobe
see?
Walter.
Yeah, right. Like, what is Toronto doing, and do you think somebody is on the move?
I have no idea. It just seems like they have a bunch of redundancy on the wings and not enough shooting, and I don't know the direction of the team. Like, are they going young? But then the move for Brandon Ingram is not a move that you make when you're going young, even though Brandon Ingram's not old by any means, but he's older than the rest of the guys on the roster. Maybe they made a trade for Brandon Ingram as a player that they can dangle at the trade deadline to get someone else. I don't know. I mean, just the overall draft yesterday has me confused about their direction also. They need a young center. Molly Watch was available at 9, and they didn't go with him. So I don't know, but they're going to need some shooting. They are going to have to improve as a team as far as shooting.
I hate to get back to the Suns real quick, but before we get too far, move with your next question. What's the end game with Malawak and Mark Williams?
That caught me by surprise too. I thought Malawak.
Well, the timing didn't make any sense because you got the sense that they acquired Williams first before they made the trade because it was announced. At least it made social media first. It seemed strange.
Only thing I can think of is that they didn't expect Malawak to fall to them at 10. Like, everything I had heard was that his floor was Toronto at 9. And he could go as high as 6. So maybe they made the trade and then they saw him sitting there and they said, best player available. Phoenix is not in the position to draft for fit, so they went best player available. But I was just talking with my brother about that, is that they got Mark Williams, they have Nick Richard, who played for Charlotte, and Molly Welch, who was at Duke last year. So at one point last year, probably earlier this year, they were all in the same city, and now they're all in not same city, but the same area.
Yeah.
So now they went from having 0 centers to 3 centers. So I don't know what's going on there.
Rafael, last one for me. Who's a guy that's still sitting there as we enter the second round today that you think could actually make an impact?
Got to be Fleming.
Well, yeah, actually, there's a few guys that come to mind. Rasheer Fleming is a guy that I was high on. And then Maxime Renaud is a player that I was really high on. He averaged 20 and 11. He led the ACC in rebounding and was second in scoring and made the most threes in NCAA history by a 7-footer. So he's still available. Of course, I'm from Omaha. This is a Omaha-based station. Hunter Salas is a guy that I think could make an impact. So it's John Tanji is a guy that
I was going to ask you who would you slot? Ravi asked me this last week, just following these guys in high school, and this is what we do since they were little. He said, Dad, did you ever think that you would see draft boards in 2025 that had Tanji going before Salas, given how both were thought of in middle school and in high school? Do you have Tanji ahead of Salas?
I don't, but I could see it happening just because I've heard that Tanji has been absolutely just dominant in the workout.
Listen, that's who he is. I'm telling you right now, that's who he is. He is an absolute work menace. I don't know where the chip came from, Rafael, but for as long as I've known him, he enjoys just giving it to people and proving them wrong.
Yep. And one of the things I've heard is that he's been so good in workouts that his age works against him because he's 23, maybe he'll be 24.
Yep.
And some of the guys he's going up against, they're one-and-done freshmen. So even when he dominates, some teams are just like, well, he's supposed to. He's more experienced. He's 5 years older. So his age is definitely being held against him. Mm-hmm. And then I've also heard some say that he really just has one dominant season of college basketball. But, the way he played at the second half of the season, and what was the game against? Was it UCLA where he didn't miss any shots?
Shot their lights out.
Yeah, so I do think that if there's a team that's looking for a plug-and-play wing, someone that they think that they can throw in the rotation and be able to contribute as opposed to someone who may be a few years away, I think Tanji could go. I think he can go in the high 30s.
All right, let me get you out on this. What are your thoughts about Nick Clifford?
I like Nick. I like Nick a lot. He came on my podcast at the NBA Combine. He's a guy that doesn't have a lot of holes in his game. Shot 37% from 3. Was the best rebounding wing in the nation. He's a good passer. He's a guy that I think is going to be good. Sacramento got a steal. Sacramento got an absolute steal in Nick Clifford.
Yeah.
That's our guy, Rafael Barlowe. He joins us talking about the NBA draft from the NBA Big Board podcast. Rafael, we appreciate the time and enjoy day 2.
Thanks, RB. Appreciate you.
No problem. Thank you so much. Yep, thank you.
That's Rafael Barlowe.
I like Clifford too.
Yeah?
Yes, because he had a coach before he left Colorado State that thought he was going to be pretty good too, that I'm aware of.
Nico?
Yeah.
Yeah. People around here love Nico Medved.
He liked Clifford quite a bit.
Yeah. No, I get it. He's a good ball player.
Just got my attention.
I was struggling with the Jordan Poole love a little bit.
You know what? This is probably too in-depth for a lot, so I should probably know our audience a little better. But remember how we would go back and forth randomly about Toronto and why they aren't better?
Yeah.
Study that roster. It's
a mess.
It's even though they have good names.
Yeah, they're good players, but it's a messy roster.
I feel bad for Jacob now.
I will take my chances with the guards in San Antonio over any team with Jordan Poole.
Harper?
Yeah. Harper, Fox.
Oh,
Castle.
I thought you were going to lose it when he went into Jordan Poole. I was like, man, he did get buckets, but this dude would inbounds the ball to the wrong people all the time.
Dude, Jordan Poole sucks. That is a classic, I will put up 20 points, but you're going to win 20 games guy.
Yeah.
That's it. That's that dude. That's who Jordan Poole is. I think Jordan Poole should pay Steph Curry commission. for his contracts for the rest of his career because he made him look like a functional basketball player for 9 months, which no one else has been able to do.
And he played with a certain amount of discipline in that organization too.
And he still drove me crazy.
Yeah.
Like more discipline than he's ever played with in his entire life.
Yeah. So that's why I was laughing at the Kuminga talk last night. I'm like, he better go to the right environment because if you turn Kuminga loose, Golden State had a hard time. They had to just bench him.
He's gonna get 22 points a game, and you're gonna win 18.
You're funny.
I mean, that's just what it is. Like, there's guys that are like that. You know that.
You are funny.
Like,
and there are guys that I do think there are people.
Player.
This is where you made fun of me for this exact analogy the other day.
Yeah.
Well, you always do, but the right environment, he can function.
Yeah, I just don't know what the right environment for Jordan Poole is.
Yeah, I know, and you're going to turn back and tell me it's not worth it, DB. Like,
it's not. Yeah. It's not worth the gamble of trying to be like, okay, I have to get – this guy was in a perfect situation. He was only functional for 9 months. Like
you can't be fighting Draymond Green in practice.
No, you shouldn't. But if you've got Steph Curry, Steve Kerr, and that culture and those guys around you, and you can only – like his head got so big after they won a championship that he became completely useless.
How good do you think I feel hearing Barlowe talk about Tanji and workouts?
Oh, man.
What do I walk you through? What I tell you about him all the time?
Yeah, monster.
He is consistent as when that dude steps in the gym, I don't care if it's lifting, agility, skills, whatever, it is important that he puts every single fingerprint on the workout. You will know who did it.
He wants to win every rep.
Yep. You will know who did it.
Yeah.
He is amazing in that regard.
That's a guy that when he says, hey, like that's a guy you look at and you're like, hey, I'm never going to bet against him to make a roster.
No. This dude would like call his shot. He was, he'd play against a Cola Rope and, Central. He's like, he's getting on a poster. Like he thinks like that.
Yeah. And there's a difference.
You know what I mean? It's
like John Tanji's a guy who I think is also situationally dependent, but because that's how we saw his college career go. But there's a difference.
But he had a coach that finally gave him the green light. You didn't think he was going to be guard.
That's what I mean. So there's a difference between being situationally dependent because of what you're allowed to do versus being situationally dependent because you don't have the maturity to function at a high level.
No, I get you.
I'll take my chances with a John Tanji over Jordan Poole.
I get you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want the guy that functions at a high level.
Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Yeah. Like, I'll take the guy that functions at a high level but maybe hasn't had the right opportunities versus the guy that has all the talent. But, it's the Ace Bailey argument, right?
How about them just taking him anyway?
I mean, that's a total Danny Ainge move.
I hope he works out.
I know you do. You weirdly like him. That doesn't seem like one of your guys. Like his personality doesn't seem to fit what you normally
He's emotionally immature.
Yeah.
And
So you root for him because you want him to figure it out.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So because there's an age at which
I know you hate that. But...
No, it's just I have a hard time. Sometimes it's, hey, this guy needs a babysitter. I don't want to mess with him versus he's young, he's emotionally immature. I want him to figure it out.
Mm-hmm. When I'm predicting success, a lot of times I start with whether you need a babysitter or not.
Yeah.
That's kind of the prerequisite.
So you wouldn't predict success for Ace, but you hope for it.
Correct.
Okay, fair.
Yeah, that's
totally fair.
Like, that's it in a nutshell.
That's what I was trying to figure the difference out because I am not predicting success for Ace Bailey because more often than not, if you need a babysitter, it's not going to work out.
Do you get the Orlando hype?
I think it's overblown. I think the East is really bad.
I gotta see it.
Like Desmond Bane doesn't move the needle that much for me. I get that he fits a really good need for them, but I don't look all of a sudden and be like, oh, watch out for Orlando in the East.
Man, they come up a ton.
They do.
I do quietly.
It's gonna be a bad conference next year though.
Well, that's why keep an eye on Atlanta.
Yeah, Atlanta's more interesting to me than Orlando.
He did a really good job, I think.
And if New York ever finds a coach, then they might have something cooking too.
Yeah, they're in a danger zone because Nico basically intimated that he locked up Kid, and Kid's sitting right next to him.
Yeah,
he's like, didn't I squash this once?
Yeah.
So if Kid isn't bolting and he gets the 2-year extension to the extension, I don't know what the next.
I'm going to sit here and tell you, like, I was sort of joking at first.
Maybe they'll hire Rico.
They're gonna.
Could you see Suave running that locker room?
No.
Dude, he can control little kids at a house. You can control an NBA locker room.
I think his wife controls the kids at the house. I think Rico gets run over.
Shout out Suave's wife. Shout out Miss Suave.
Shout out Miss Puerto.
Wow.
Although I think she looks more like my wife than she does like Rico. A little.
That's
white.
That's tough. Did you hear my mom laughing at me that I couldn't cut the watermelon?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. We didn't tell that story on air.
Yeah,
just so you know.
Oh, that's right. Actually, there's no story. It was one of your racist jokes.
No.
We're going to move on.
No.
Yeah, there's no story.
No, you told the story after I told the joke.
Yeah, because you were assuming some things.
No,
and I was like, well, it's
I
not as
wasn't-
easy as you think.
Listen, I wasn't assuming. A joke is not an assumption of truth.
Well, it's based on something.
It's based on stereotypes, not about you.
Yeah. And full disclosure, weren't a lot of knives being used back then. It was smash against a hard surface and you ate the crumbled pieces. So
Yeah. Back when?
Well,
I don't know what you mean. Like when you were a kid? No? What are you looking for?
Oh, no.
A way out?
You're not getting me. Nope. No. Looking for my readers. Why would you try to set me up like that? Just.
I can't help it. Can I just say, though, I'm not letting Nico off the hook here. I get that the NBA gifted him Cooper Flag. That guy still sucks. He's bad at his job.
People like him this year. People like Dallas.
They still got Kyrie Irving, right?
3-1-19.
When's he gonna play?
I told you guys when I thought.
What'd you say?
January.
Yeah. I thought I said January's best case, All-Star more likely.
Yeah. Yep. It'll be the next calendar year, but
Yeah.
he'll play.
I'm just saying, you might be in trouble by then in the West.
I don't know. It'll be competitive.
It's going to be real competitive. How does Kyrie fit into the defense wins championship thing? Is he a good defender?
Well, he's got 1,000 not wing rim protectors, but he's got 1,000 long bodies on the back end in Dallas. I mean, look at that roster.
So we bet on Kyrie and his defense over Luka and his?
Yeah, funnel them.
Makes sense.
Funnel them to the help rim protection.
You think? Get to the chopper! You think Cooper wouldn't have been able to rim protect for Luka too? No.
This is a signal when I call that defense.
Get to the chopper!
We run a defense called chopper.
I run funnel. Just funnel them to the big. Funnel them. Get
it
him to Kalkbrenner.
Knock it off.
What?
I don't appreciate.
That's the kind of defense I played. I either fouled you or I was like funneling you to a big. See ya. Go have fun. Unfortunately,
you seem like a big foul guy.
Oh, I was a good fouler. Real good fouler.
Yeah.
Actually, I was really good at fouling without getting called for it.
I highly doubt that.
No, everybody felt bad because I'm like
that svelte thin frame that you had where it was
it's just people would just run
it
into
wasn't very obvious.
No, people would just like run into me and be like, he doesn't have his hand. I mean, this was also like 2006 because it was a little more physical basketball back in the day. But like if you just run
I thought that was faux pas.
What?
Is that you're not supposed to talk about old days physical basketball.
I mean, listen, back in like the NCCAA D2, they were kind of letting us play a little bit.
It's a lot of consonants.
There is. I am wrapped in a, like it was.
You can finish. He said it, not me.
What'd you say?
It's 100% true.
I know. All right. I'm saying they would run into me, and I don't have my hands on them, but they're, basketball player, like a lot of guards are kind of skinny, so they run into me, and they're just like, oh, what's happening?
Hey, we're getting some appreciation for the Coach Manning interview.
Yeah, it seems like people enjoyed that.
You guys are, when I was thinking about doing that, and I just throw those in the group text.
Yeah.
Are you like WTH? Are you like, oh, I could see that? Because sometimes I feel like I'm putting you on the spot.
No, I mean,
because usually you ask me, or you guys ask, hey, do you want? And that time I just was like, hey, get.
No, I get it. It's I mean, listen, we can get whoever you want to get.
Can we?
Yeah, I don't care. I don't have a problem with it.
We may not do much sports.
Who do you want to talk to?
Who you think he believes that, Shane?
No, who you want to talk to?
Well,
like, give me an example. Well, like more Bigfoot ladies or what?
No, like there'd be some business guys I want to talk to.
Oh, I'd be interested in that.
Like like
can we get Joe Mowgli on here?
I'd want to talk to Sean Buchanan.
Okay.
I'd like to talk to. We need to talk to Les Vogler.
Can we talk to some of the guys that are like running collectives around here? I'd like to pick their brains a little bit, what they're thinking right now.
I know you would. You know who you need to talk to is Noddle.
I'll talk to Jay.
He's unbelievably smart.
Yeah. Have a little conversation.
Shrewd, like you'd like him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
No, I'll talk to whoever. I just want you to, like, when you've got guys like Coach Manning or whatever, and it's not because I don't try, but if we're going to get into like nitty gritty of wrestling, like, you're going to have to carry that.
Well, that's fine.
You know what I mean? And I'm cool with it as long as you're cool with it.
Yeah, and I try not to get asking about Ziola is about as nitty gritty as I'll get.
Yeah.
Over the air, if I'm not talking to
he's a local guy,
another wrestling head.
People are familiar with Cade.
No, nobody wants to hear about that. So generally speaking, but I did think the AJ Ferrari thing was. I'm just appreciative he felt comfortable enough.
I am too. I'm glad that he gave us kind of that grace to take him there, because I don't know that he's
didn't. What's Coach Belichick's significant other's name?
Jordan Hudson.
Yeah, did not do her any favors.
I thought he was joking. I thought he was making.
I thought you thought he was joking.
Yeah,
so I said, "Hey, I think they think you're joking."
Yeah, no, I did. I am they.
And he's like, "No, I'm not."
I need a little more backstory on how that happened, but
Wyatt is out of control.
Oh no, what did Wyatt do?
Yeah, I can't mess with him.
More
man.
cryptozoologists, absolutely. The funny thing is, so
I don't even know what that is.
Speaking of, so zoology is the study of animals, Shane. So crypto is like not cryptocurrency. Although it is sort of fake still. Cryptozoology is the study of animals that may or may not be real. Just like cryptocurrency is the study of money that may or may not be real.
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care.
You know what is real is tomorrow morning we're going to talk to.
Your delivery
I know I'm such a dick. I don't know.
It is awful.
I really can't help it. I am wrapped in a giant candy shell of being a dick. Yeah, no, I am. Tomorrow morning though, so we're not candy coating anybody's Richard. No, you don't want to do that. Although, like, no, don't want to yuck your yum, whatever you're into. I do love the bootay. Right there, TV. Tomorrow morning at 7:45, we're going to talk to Nebraska running back commit Jamal Rule, so that's cool.
Yeah, I'm a big Jamal Rule guy.
Yeah, we'll talk to him at tomorrow morning. Hopefully he's not listening to the show today.
Oh. No, hopefully those guys are at workouts. High school, I mean, that's what they do in the morning.
Yeah, well, maybe he's asleep still,
Nah, he's East Coast.
Oh, yeah, he's probably awake.
Yeah.
He doesn't keep the Jacob Badilla schedule.
Ooh, how about...
Or Joel Lorenzi schedule. We love Joel.
You know the Thunder are going to be, on paper, better than they were this year?
Yeah.
That doesn't mean
you
can recreate the same aura and the juice and the vibe, but on paper they're better.
What's Pat Riley's famous thing? The disease of more. Everybody wants more after a championship.
Yeah.
I want more shots. I want more points. I want more money.
You want more bad jokes.
Well, that's kind of where I live. We'll talk to Brian Edwards, our Vegas insider, coming up next.
Aspirations can drive us. Sometimes a simple gesture is what fuels the pursuit of a dream. When it's time to make your dream a reality, we are here to help. Centris Federal Credit Union. We are where you are.
Marcus, what happened, it happened. Listen, everybody makes decisions these days, and you wish them all the best in their new journey. We certainly did that with Jamarcus when he went to Rhode Island, and he had some really good moments for that team. He was obviously a huge part of that, starting at the point guard. I think a team that won their first 13 or 14 games a year ago, and I think he really grew in his maturity playing that role. So, when he did go into the portal and we made contact with Jamarcus, he did talk about some things that he missed. And, I think a big thing that we did that prior year where he had a big role on a team that made the NCAA tournament, he he wanted to bring this team back there again. And yeah, he's just like I said, he's grown in so many areas. I'm proud of him, and I think he's primed for a really good season. And it's the other thing about this group. I love the depth that we have with this team. It's not going to make my job easy when it comes to rotations, but this is a deep team with Jamarcus, with Kendall, and we've got size. That's the other thing that that I've really liked about this group is the overall length.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live. Now, Vegas insider, senior handicapper, and fan of the cold Budweiser bottles, Brian Edwards.
It's got to be touchdown, touchdown, touchdown.
Brian Edwards.
I don't really love it.
Brian Edwards.
The way they're using the cream cheese to butter the bagel.
Brian Edwards.
I'm going with the cowgirls.
Here is Brian Edwards.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Centris Federal Credit Union. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. We are joined now by our Vegas insider, Brian Edwards from Major Wager. What's up, B?
Good morning, fellas. What's happening?
Hey, how we doing, bud?
We're doing good. I think I just figured out some UFC 317 picks, I hope.
I thought of you last night and again this morning when I asked our NBA insider a question. Quietly, who had a pretty good night. Your Atlanta Hawks, I feel like, are very interesting. That's a good job by a first-time general manager.
Yeah, and Porzingis, if it doesn't work, it's an expiring contract.
Yeah, got him on the cheap.
Yeah. And I like Asa Newell, and he's so young, so a lot of potential there.
You commandeered the unprotected first-round pick, which was nice.
Right, and I was kind of, selfishly holding out hopes Walter Clayton would fall to us, of course, but no big deal. I like what they did. Yeah.
It's funny that
I don't know.
I didn't love Walter Clayton Jr.'s game as a pro, but I get that he's a winner. I felt like he would get the label of he's a really good college player, but apparently not.
But I just think his shooting is elite, and that is huge.
And he did show a little bit of a clutch gene too, right?
Yeah, very much.
Yeah,
I think so.
The Haliburtons of the world did Clayton Jr.
Yeah, Haliburton's like 6'5", though. Like Haliburton's a big guy. He's a big, long guy. Like I think the part of my concern with the shooting is, like, yes, he's a very good shooter, and he performed.
Clayton Jr.
Yeah, and he performed at a really high level and has that clutch gene. He's pretty undersized for the NBA, and it doesn't have like a lightning quick release.
Well, how many guys did we say that about last night that got drafted? I heard it about Jace Richardson. We heard it about Fears.
I have the same concerns about Jace Richardson's too. And Fears, he could probably get a shot off, but it's not going in even if he does. So I don't know what to do there.
Hey, we'll never know, but what do you guys – I'm sure you guys probably talked about it on Monday. I haven't really talked about it a whole lot, but what do you think happens if Haliburton doesn't get hurt? I mean, he was off to a great start the other night.
I hate doing that, so I don't even allow myself to go there because
who knows?
We've benefited from injuries, and we've also gotten smoked because of injuries. So I
think it's a game. In that individual game – I think it's a game instead of being a 12-point whatever.
Full disclosure, man, I'm traumatized because I automatically go back to St. Louis and the Dome and think if we were healthy against Texas,
sure,
they get smoked. But instead, we get.
And another thing on the Hawks, and not to imply the Hawks have a chance to like make noise in the East, but just in general, the East is wide open because Damian Lillard makes Milwaukee just out of the equation. Boston. With Tatum and now Indiana without Haliburton, I mean, that makes room for three teams that wouldn't have otherwise maybe been in that top five of the East to swindle in there, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Hawks could make the Eastern Conference Finals if they stay healthy. Like that's
really wow. We have Jalen Johnson and Young.
Like Jalen Johnson's really good. Trey Young can be good if Kristaps Porzingis is his typical contract year. Kristaps Porzingis.
Yeah, he's going 18-13 or 18-12.
Like, is there a trio in the East that you like that much better than that?
Let me ask
like
you,
New York is in that conversation, right? But
does the fan base how does the fan base feel about Young?
Well, I'm not in Atlanta anymore.
No, I know, but I mean, you follow him.
Right. No, I do follow him, but you got to pay to read the AJC, and I'm kind of out of the loop with the sports radio guys up there. I think the fan base is kind of, to the point where we could go either way. We could trade him and be happy. We could keep him and stay happy if he plays well and you put the right parts around him. I think it's kind of split, if that makes any sense.
That makes sense.
Kind of where I'm at.
It makes sense. All right, what's the best value this weekend with guys like Chipoya and such heavy favorites?
Yeah, so you go to inside the distance because with with Topuria, he's actually 8 submissions and 6 KOs, so more submissions, but it's minus 275 if you go inside the distance, minus 150 on the knockout. So I decided to go risk 1.5 units to win 1 on the knockout at minus 150 price for Topuria over Oliveira, but I'm thinking he does it inside of 2 rounds. But I didn't like the prices on the unders so I did Topuria to win in round 2 specifically. It's plus 300 to 325 at most books, but it's plus 4 was it 405? No, 410 at FanDuel. So Topuria half unit to win 2.05 units to win specifically in round 2 at a plus 410 payout at FanDuel.
B, is there anything on the undercard that you like for 317?
Well, I think it's the main card, but I'll go Moicano in the minus 104 at FanDuel to minus 110 range against Dariush. And then I'll go 3-leg parlay, Moicano, Topuria, and Terrence McKinney. Risk 1 unit. Should get back about 2.67 units, around plus 267.
There you go. Wanted to ask you about, before we get to any football teams here, do you ever do any like tennis betting? Wimbledon's coming up. Do you ever do any long shots on tennis?
I've got a couple of buddies that love it. And if I'm at the bar with them, I might let them talk me into it, but no.
It depends on how many Budweiser's in.
Right. Right. And where my balance stands. In fact, it's only happened like once or twice. But
let me know if you can get any plus money on Alcaraz or Sinner.
You would recommend that?
If you can get some plus money on either of those guys, you'll be in good shape.
Okay. But no, I don't do any tennis betting.
All right. Well,
it's like betting Scheffler in golf. I mean, it is what it is.
If you can get plus money on Scheffler in golf, you're taking it.
Oh, all right, B. Where do you want to start with kind of some of these tricky records? Were you interested in this group we suggested? Did you find anything surprising?
Well, you're not buying low with Indiana because they were 5.5 on the win total last year. Now they're 8.5, but it is plus money to the over, plus 128 at FanDuel. The thing is, it's like you expect regression with a team that comes up from nowhere and has this monster season. But let me point this out. Nothing was fluky about it. Net yardage last year plus 2,211. They won 10 of their 11 games by 14 points or more. They won 1 game by 1 possession. That was 20-15 against Michigan, but they were up 17-3 at halftime in that game. So you look at, what's changed is the schedule a lot tougher. The schedule is tougher, but you've got, Ohio State falls off, but you got to go at Penn State. So that's basically about the same. And I had them losing to Ohio State last year. I've got them losing to Penn State. I've got them they add Oregon, and it's at Oregon. I've got them losing to Oregon. But everything else looks like a win with 2 possible exceptions. Illinois at home, which I believe Indiana's minus 3 games of the year, and at Iowa. And I think if you just say a split in those two, then that's 9 wins. And let me tell you the other games and tell me if you think they lose any. Old Dominion, Kennesaw State, Indiana State at home. Michigan State, UCLA at home.
No, they should go 5-0.
At Maryland.
UCLA is a little froggy.
It's in Bloomington.
But it's at home.
Yeah.
At Maryland. Maryland's down.
Their depth is bad too.
Maryland does have 2 weeks to prepare, but I still think they get that.
I like Maryland better than most at the top towards high. Like, they can't afford very many injuries though. They're razor thin.
Yeah. And then Wisconsin at home. I mean, they're definitely going to be favored. And you could hedge at that point because at Purdue's the regular season finale, which we know is going to be a dub, right?
Yeah, should be.
I don't remember their schedule being that as cakey. Why is the win total so low?
Well, at Oregon and at Penn State are guaranteed out.
Okay, that's fine, but you haven't given me anything where I'm like, ooh, 8.5 seems low, especially to get some back with plus 128.
Right. That's what I think.
That seems a little fishy.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I am, eating chalk here, so to speak, because it's 3 wins higher than last year, and you're coming off this, program-defining best ever season, and so there's, you think there's going to be regression, but nothing was fluky about it. The schedule is almost as easy.
I mean, I
can sit here and look at 4 losses right off the bat,
and you're counting Iowa as one of them. At Iowa,
at Illinois,
or no, Illinois at home. Illinois at home.
But at Iowa, at
Illinois,
Oregon?
at Iowa, at Oregon, Penn State. Like, I can get to 4 losses super easy.
Okay.
And that's if UCLA isn't any good. That's if Wisconsin's not any good. That's if Michigan State's not any good. Like,
yeah, if they went to Iowa City and lost, I can't imagine they'd be favored in that game either. I wouldn't make Indiana the favorite.
That's what I mean. And Illinois,
I'd make Iowa the favorite.
Illinois is supposed to be the darling this year.
No, yeah, Illinois. Okay,
Illinois is supposed to be the darling this year. So if even at Indiana, that's going to be a really close line, even if Indiana is favored.
Yeah, but Illinois has the lower win total. Season win total.
Well, hey, I'm on Illinois over as well, so that's kind of a wash, that game for me. And then if they're underdogs at Iowa, maybe I oh wait, no, I'm sorry. That wouldn't work.
That's fun.
If they were favorites, I could take Iowa plus the points as a bit of a hedge.
So you're on Illinois, huh, B?
Yeah, I'm on there over. I think we hit on that a few weeks back.
We did, but I didn't know the way you were like. Was it a playable deal?
Yeah, no, it's over. Yeah, play.
I'm just saying you could very easily be sitting here mid-October with Indiana at 3-3, and you're not going to feel great about your 8.5.
No, of course not.
Good way to look at it.
So that's where I look at Indiana. Could they go over? Absolutely, I understand that, but I look at the schedule and I go, hey, it's maybe not quite I get they miss Ohio State, but they miss Michigan. Maybe it's not quite as navigable as some of these teams. I think are better. Especially like Illinois, Iowa. I think Illinois, Iowa, Oregon. I think is a genuinely really tough stretch.
Do we really think Iowa's going to score enough points to beat Indiana though?
I listen. I'm higher on Iowa than most, and I get it. The joke is that I'm always high on Iowa, but I don't know, man. I've watched Gronowski a ton. I think Lester flies under the radar as an OC. I don't know. Iowa concerns me.
So you're thinking Iowa? Wow, they averaged 27.7 last year. I didn't realize that.
They concern me. Yeah, 27. And I get it, the defensive touchdowns and special teams. And McNamara only threw for, a grand. But, Caleb Johnson went for 15 and some change. And I don't know. I'm a little worried. I like Gronowski.
Yeah.
I get the conference. I get the FCS and FBS. But
there's no doubt in my mind he's a good player. I just don't know what the adjustment looks like.
All right, let's get to you talk about polarizing. Well, I just watched Michigan get trashed on listen to Michigan get trashed on a podcast the other day because nobody is in on Bryce Underwood.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so that's concerning. Obviously that's concerning right off the bat.
Yeah, it's an interesting.
But I like their roster more than most, I think.
Well,
all right.
They'll know in the first couple weeks.
They got 16 transfers, 8 Power 4. 3 were four stars. Phil Steele's national unit rankings has them elite in 5 position groups, but QB number 61, wide receiver 53, and then O-line 22. But the rest of them are top 11. They're number 2 at linebacker, number 5 special teams, number 9 in the secondary. So I marked them 8-0 with 4 swing games. At Oklahoma, where I believe they're plus 2.5 in the games of the year, is a swing game. At Nebraska, a swing game where they're minus 3 or 3.5. At USC, when USC has 2 weeks to prepare and Michigan does not. And Ohio State at home. And I got W's everywhere else. Season win total 9.5, but plus money to the over. So Ohio State's in November, where I would think Bryce Underwood will be playing better football unless Mikey Keene just wins it and keeps it. I don't think Davis Warren's going to win it. Do you?
No, but I mean, they did bring in Garcia.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Garcia, previously Miami and Missouri.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is his 4th school, so we're missing one.
Yeah,
Right.
he didn't play there, but yeah, he made a stop.
I would think Mikey Keene would win it before that. But anyway, I like their chances against Ohio State. I like their I mean, those are our 3 road games, though, at Oklahoma, Nebraska, and USC. If they get 2 of them, they go over at plus money. I think it's a pass for me because I think it's very close.
I think it's razor thin there, and I'm just telling you, they're losing at Nebraska.
And we just don't know about the quarterback. We don't really know who it's going to be, and if Underwood, where is he going to be in his,
Well, and don't forget that stretch with Nebraska in it, they don't have Sharon Moore.
That's right. And
well, they'll have him for Oklahoma. They just
won't
for
Nebraska. Yeah.
And it's unlikely to be Underwood starting on the road in September as a true freshman, you would think, unless he's the best guy.
And if he is, you probably like your chances to rattle him a bit.
Right. Yep. So
I mean,
it's
if you saw what happened to Shedeur Sanders in Lincoln last year, I feel like you can do that to a true freshman.
Yeah. It will be. It's a 2:30 game. That's just fine.
People are going to be tuned up though.
Oh yeah.
I think that'll be a good one. All right, B. That's all we got for today.
All right, fellas. Y'all have a good one. Enjoy.
We're gonna put our heads together with the
game
next
or teams.
Yeah. There's a couple I'm very interested in.
We'll send you a couple more teams for next week. We appreciate it as always, bud.
Thanks, fellas. See ya.
Thanks, B.
That's Brian Edwards from Major Wager.
You know what I forgot to ask him?
What's that?
What's the differential in plus minus expected versus projected for him to make it a play?
We can ask that. That's a good question.
Probably 1.5, maybe.
Yeah, probably have to. I think you have to get to 1.5, otherwise you don't feel good.
Yeah.
Coming up next, we're going to talk to Michael Bruntz, Husker247. Don't forget, if you're out on the road, make sure you're wearing your seatbelt and make it click. It prevents injuries and saves lives. This message from the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
It's going to be great. It's going to be great, especially with the team this year. We're very unique. A lot of shooting from top of the roster to the bottom, guards to bigs. Just talking to him, and I'm just going to say, I know how he plays. He knows how I play. So we're just kind of, conversating about how it's good to be back and playing with each other. So.
What did you miss about Nebraska?
Man, just good people, culture. I think culture is a big thing in basketball. Like I said, just so many great people in the community. When I came back, everybody just showing love and, just not bugging me about leaving or whatever. They just all welcome me back. It's been good.
A successful financial future is built one coin at a time. Whether you're just starting out or a seasoned saver, we've got the financial resources and team of experts who will be with you every step of the way. Centris Federal Credit Union. We are where you are.
Welcome to Hurrdat Sports Live.
We're back here on Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Centris Federal Credit Union. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. We are joined now by the one and only Michael Bruntz, Husker247. What's up, Bruntz?
How much? How's it going?
I'm good, or we're good, Bruntsy. How about you?
Not bad. I'm hanging in there.
Sort of, kind of?
Yeah, no complaints.
I think it's kind of
seem a little subdued this morning.
Me?
A little wishy-washy.
No, not wishy-washy. I'm good. I'm good.
How's the buzz on the old massage board? Was it anarchy? Is it calmed down with 2 recruits in the fold, or like where are we?
No, I think a little. I would say trending a little towards the happier side. I think everybody knows it's going to be a smaller class, so we've said that about every day for the last couple months, I think. But no, I think it's fine. I think we're kind of getting to that point, because what are we, like, getting close to 9 weeks out, 10 weeks out from the start of the season? Basically, fall camp starts July 20. We're like a month away from the start of fall camp, so
yeah,
just got another month you got to get through, and I think it'll be okay.
Yeah, it should be fine with a couple more commitments coming to fill another. I always like to work backwards. You get a couple, 2, 3 commits here. That'll occupy 5-7 days.
5 to 7.
Is that
hours?
Is that a lot?
Hours. 5 to 7 hours.
Depends on how good the recruits are.
Yeah.
Oh, well, shoot. That sucks. Maybe I need to readjust my timeline in my head. Couple of Denny Downers over here. Hey, before we get rolling, I got an overrated, underrated for you. Hot take.
Okay.
I've seen him on 3 out of 5 consensus, or 3 out of 5 overrated lists.
Okay.
He is a Pittsburgh Pirate, so I don't know how much you've actually thought of him to begin with. But Andrew McCutcheon, thoughts on Andrew McCutcheon, a guy that's only had 3 seasons with an OPS above 900.
Let me look at his numbers.
You know what? His defensive WAR is in the negatives, and he's supposed to be good defensively. Yeah. And he's like a -77 defensive runs saved.
Ooh. He was like, in my head, I think of him. I didn't think of him a ton as well. Okay, so here's what we got. So I would say appropriately valued probably up until 2015. He was 28 years old at that point. And then the curveball kind of rolls off the table from there, because you got an MVP in there.
Mm-hmm. That's in 13, right?
It's before, yeah. Before the big payday.
He's probably getting by on the early career success and just the longevity, right?
Yeah, kind of almost like, no. I was going to say Kurt Schilling, because he pitched 20 plus, but that guy never led the major leagues in any statistical categories.
Well, he started slow, and then he started slow too. Schilling did.
So McCutcheon's never had 100 RBIs in a season.
Oof.
Career high home runs is 31.
Has he? Okay, so
has not been an all-star.
That was a quick scan. So he's only had 3 seasons of an OPS above 900, right?
Yeah, 953 is his tops there. Yep. He hasn't been above 900 since 2014.
11 years?
2014 is his last. He had 3 in a row, 12, 13, 14. It's been since 2014 since he had an OPS above 900.
So maybe I get it. Maybe we are misremembering.
Been since 2019.
Does this quick glance surprise you, Bruntz?
Yeah. You're correct. I haven't thought about him much in a long time. And yeah, I would say overrated's a little fairer there. I think.
Yeah, because we do talk about him differently than he actually. I mean,
I think it's because people like him.
He's a nice guy. Seems like a nice guy.
Very likable character.
He's a nice guy.
It's been since 2019 since he had an OPS over 800.
Yeah.
Oh, Bruntz, I don't even think you mean to sound sarcastic. It's just
No, I mean, when I think of Andrew McCutchen, I think of a guy you'd be fine rooting for. It's pretty stark, the difference in how things changed there for him.
I think of like a speed and power combo guy that could go 20-20 on you, could maybe hit 300, but he hasn't done any of that since 2014.
You know what didn't fall off the table after 2015?
What's that?
Contracts, man. Jeez.
Yeah.
He's making $20 million in 2021. That's a lot of cash for average.
Hey, speaking of the Pirates, yesterday as Mizorowski got another one. Was it weird to see Skeens actually get touched out early? I was like,
yes, it was.
Oh my God! I think Superman. What happened? Who's got kryptonite in their bat?
Yeah,
and he's 4-7. Paul Skeens
with a 2.12 ERA, 110 strikeouts, and a .91 WHIP. Poor guy.
It's a 2.1 ERA after yesterday. It was like 1.85 going in.
Well, he gave up 2 walks in an inning, and you're like, what is going on?
Yeah. Like,
how soon does Paul Skeens enter Mike Trout territory where we're like, we as a people need to get him out of there? Like,
I'm already
yesterday.
I'm already there.
Yeah,
already.
That's sad.
Yeah, yesterday. It's
it's like you need to like block off a conference room and have a meeting for how the heck you can get Paul Skeens the hell away from Pittsburgh.
And like Mizorowski, he was just in Nashville. When did he get called up? He hadn't been here more than
it's like a month. It's less than a month, I think. Because it was like a couple weeks ago that he rolled his ankle in the no bid, and that was his debut, right?
I don't. Brunsey, again, probably not at the top of your Rolodex in terms of teams to study, but I'm fascinated by the Milwaukee Brewers. And it's primarily because last year, you and I we had a conversation preseason baseball. It's like, a team most likely to come back to the pack after making the playoffs the previous year. They had lost Counsell, and, Williams was hurt at the time. He hadn't even been dealt to the Yankees. No Burns.
No problem.
I don't understand how they were good last year, and they're kind of doing it again this year. I don't get it.
I remember I probably made a joke or two about Nestor Cortez.
Yeah.
If I know myself well, I probably did that.
I think just like saying his name.
Yeah. That was the third start for Miz, by the way. But yeah, they're playing good baseball, and I don't know. I mean, that division seems like it's fairly gettable nowadays. So I don't know. I mean, I've got a few friends who are Brewers fans, and they're just tickled to death with the way this is going because I don't think they really expected it either.
I'd find any way I can to cheer for Lane Grindle. So that's
speaking of the Brewers. So Christian Yelich hit 80 home runs between 2 years, 18-19. Do you know how many he's hit in the 6 since then?
I've got him on my fantasy team. I know it's not many this year.
I'd say 5.
Is it fewer than 30?
He's at 80. No, I mean 80 total.
Oh,
in the 6 years.
Okay.
Since the 80 in 2 years. So in 18 he hit 36, and 19 he hit 44. He hasn't cracked 20 since then. He's got 80 total since 2019.
Brunsey, do you know the walk-off he had against the Astros?
You know what that smells like?
The home run? That was the first of his career for Yelly.
Really?
First walk-off?
Just this year, a month ago.
Wow.
But he's been hurt. Give him.
How many games has he missed in that stretch? I feel like he's like Byron Buxton.
Played a little more than we think. He only had 58 1 year, but that was the 2020, so that was a full year. 117, 154, 144. Last year was the first year he really missed any games. 73 last year.
What was the year before that with the bad knee?
He played 144 games.
I might be misremembering.
He had 550 at-bats. I mean, he's gotten the at-bats.
I love memory, all-inclusive driving lanes with Michael Bruntz.
Who
knows where this thing is going?
You want to talk about a guy that's overrated, Christian Yelich.
Wow. Ravi here for more hate.
He might have given his pharmacy stuff to Cal Raleigh. That might have been what happened.
Oh, he's been on. Listen. Bruntz, he lets himself off the hook by saying, "Oh, I'm just curious."
Allegedly. I just wonder. The power surges they're curious.
Of all the years that I've jumped on the Mariners, I can't believe I wasn't more.
You let the bus go by this time, didn't you?
I did, because I'm traumatized.
You've been burned.
You're right. I mean, you're absolutely correct too.
You've gotten run over by the bus a couple times.
It's also, I mean, it's June.
And they're doing it without Castillo actually being good.
Yeah, it's still June. They still got that shot in their bag if they want, if they need it.
Dude, I'm just saying, a lot of 28-year-old catchers hit their career high before the All-Star break in home runs. That's very, very common.
Oh, Bruntsy. So back to recruiting. Nebraska feels obviously pretty good about Odom. They know, we know the work's not done yet. But if we talk about past tense, pretty good replacement for CJ. Different kind of replacement for CJ. How'd you look at Odom saying yes?
Yeah, I mean that was a pretty good pivot. I think what you have with Odom is, a rangy corner, and if you watch him play, and you watch the film a little bit, but you also talk to some guys who've seen him play 7-on-7, and I mean he's an aggressive defensive back and good cover corner. And I think an important one, just in terms of who he's connected to down there. And I think it's probably fair to have a conversation about the work Nebraska's done in Florida, because we had that conversation back. What was the 20 class? They had a lot of commits from that state, not many guys who stuck around. And I think what you're seeing with the way that they've recruited the state this time around, Nebraska has, the difference being you're having guys that are coming up here and having success and playing early in their careers. And I think that makes a huge difference in terms of retention. I think it makes a huge difference in terms of, what you're able to do as a recruiter in subsequent classes where, Jacory Barney is a name down there. Jacory Barney had a hell of a freshman year. And, I think that just pointing to him as a player that has, gone to Nebraska and had success, I think there's a lot of power in that. And, McGahee's the same way. I think Cortez Mills can be that kind of guy this year as well, in terms of just another name that's known in Florida. And especially among skill players. So that was a really nice pivot. And I think you've got to give Nebraska credit for getting in there and really recruiting with their elbows out, because Ohio State was pushing for him late. Oklahoma was there the entire time. And, that was a recruitment that Nebraska went in there and won. And they're going to have to continue to win until, he signs. But that was a really good get for Nebraska, and especially with losing Bronow, that was a pretty good way to pivot, I think.
Bruntz, sorry, I got distracted by Jacory Barney. Do you think we give enough credit to the year that he had? Because, the way we talk about the wide receiver room, it's all about, and I get it, it's all about Key, it's all about Hunter. We even bring up Cortez Mills every once in a while. But Jacory Barney kind of quietly had 55 catches last year. He had almost 600 yards from scrimmage when you include the rushing yards. He had as you said, he had a really, really good freshman year. Mm-hmm. And it seems like we've sort of forgotten he exists.
Yeah, you've glossed over 55 catches, which is kind of wild.
Which is a huge, that's a big number for anybody.
Yeah. Back to what we were talking about. Would you guys believe that the Mariners are still 5.5 back of the Astros? Yes. With the way they've been playing?
Yeah.
Anyways,
because the Astros do practice witchcraft.
No, they cheat. They cheat. Just say they cheat.
I'm dead serious. Ask anybody that's not an Astros fan.
I know
the top four in their rotation.
Yeah.
It's incredible. Yeah. It's incredible. It's just short of them thinking that Correa still plays there.
Yeah, exactly.
He does.
Oh man, Bregman, man, he's pretty sweet. What?
Just wish he'd get off the IL for the Red Sox.
What? Oh, sorry. Didn't mean to go there.
It's fine.
No, but Jacory Barney, yeah, I mean it's hard to imagine in the past that we would have glossed over that kind of production. I mean, is he even second right now in conversations about wide receivers at Nebraska?
Third at best.
Yeah,
third at best.
So, the thing for him is Nebraska needs to find a way to get him downfield, and I know that that's not necessarily like, he can do a lot of things with the way Nebraska used him last year, but if you start adding the downfield stuff to what he's able to do, I mean, that's pretty good. That's a good look. And so, yeah, I mean, you guys are probably, you can imagine the kind of attention he got when it was portal season and schools trying to see what his interest might be. So, yeah, I mean, he's a big piece of that offense that I think you're absolutely right, Ravi, that, we're probably not talking about him enough in terms of what he can do for that offense. And I think I like to think that with a full off season to game plan, that Dana Holgorsen is going to find a way to use a player like that who has very similar skill sets to players he's had success with in the past.
I was just going to say, doesn't he seem like a perfect Dana Holgorsen wide receiver?
Yes. Yeah.
Like if I could build one in a lab, it would almost look like Jacory Barney. If I was like, hey, you get a you get a Dana Holgorsen offense and Dylan Raiola as your quarterback, I would say, yep, it's going to look a lot like Jacory Barney.
I mean, how soon did the Tank Dell stuff start when Dana came?
I mean, I'm going back all the way to like Steve Slayton.
Right. But
you're right. Tank Dell came up.
Like first press conference, it was like, hey, this guy reminds me a lot of Tank Dell. This guy, he told me, Jacory even said it too. He's like, yeah, he said I remind him a lot of Tank Dell. And I mean, there's a very, distinct type that Dana's had success with. And I think Jacory really fits the bill there.
Kind of along the lines of Barney, even though I don't think it's going to be him. But if Nebraska was going to be better than average in one of the return areas, would you pick punt return or kickoff return?
I think kickoff, and I think that's just I think that's more the nature of college football now. Like, I think it's Mike Riley said this back in like 2015, 2016, whenever it was, about how he at the time said, college football is changing. It's harder to be a good team returning punts. Nebraska is going to return punts. Like that's going to be something that's going to be baked into what they're going to do now. I mean, Mike Eckler's done that everywhere and really emphasized that. But I think you'll see some better returns with the kickoff stuff. I think just decision making will probably be coached a little bit better. Like that's just knowing when to bring it out, when not to. I mean, the kickoff stuff also to me is like that's where you can flip the field position stuff in a hurry. If you're starting from, a couple times you bring it out past your own 30 versus, some of the stuff that Nebraska's done in the past that's just, frankly, leaves you scratching your head. I think that's where you can, have an impact. And I think they've got enough athletes and guys that have done it in the past to where you'll be able to see it, I think, a little bit more on kickoffs. But I mean, that's a good question because the punting piece and the punt return piece, they're going to try to make big plays there. But I just think it's kickoffs a little bit more ready-made just with the way college football is now.
It's just harder to keep the ball in the field of play punting than it is kickoff returns, right? If all else fails and guys know they can fair catch it, it's like, well, this has not been that easy for Nebraska. But I shouldn't even say
when they batted it back out of the end zone, when the cover guy knocked it back into play, catching it at the 1 and stepping out of bounds. I mean, it's not a high bar.
Yeah, I guess I would still say punt returns.
Yeah.
What about?
I mean,
because
you get a couple big returns, it's going to look a heck of a lot different than it's looked in the past, numbers wise, especially.
They happen more, and you probably are going to. It's a lot harder just to punt the ball out of bounds, like it is to kick the ball through the end zone or to pooch it high in the air.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
That's fair.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I do think with kickoffs it's easier to avoid dynamic returners. You just kick it out of the end zone.
Yeah. We just let guys from Wisconsin. Never mind. It's very traumatic.
Bruntz, I want to return to a recruiting question here. There was obviously Claude Puma was on campus and had the cool photos with Dayton Raiola and all that kind of stuff. Are you hearing anything on the offensive tackle out of Chicago?
Yeah, I've heard it's gone back and forth a lot. It's kind of interesting talking to folks in our network that cover kind of his group of finalists, and hey, what are you hearing? What's the confidence level? It changes day to day with him, and I think that there's legitimate question in his mind of kind of finding the right place versus everything else that kind of comes along with it, with the NIL piece and feeling at home and that kind of thing. So, I have not heard at this point that one team is definitively in the lead right now. A couple days ago, it felt like Auburn was kind of in the pole position for him, and then Florida kind of the same way. I think, Nebraska's in a good spot as well, with being a little bit of a different look than maybe those other schools. So, it's one of those recruitments kind of similar to Odom's, where it's a little bit more old school, a little bit more back and forth, in kind of making that decision. But definitely a player that, very new to football, that a lot of clay to mold there for an offensive line coach. So we'll continue to report on that one, and it feels like one of those that probably has a few more twists and turns left before decision day.
All right, so July 1 is kind of a date of significance coming up with whatever Larry Miles does. Do you think Larry Miles and what he does get the sense it has anything to do with or for Nayland Scott?
No, I think Nebraska's in a good spot for both. I don't think it's I don't get the sense it's one or the other. I think especially with Miles, you got to kind of consider how that recruitment came together. It's been quick. It's been a quick courtship. He's on his way back to Florida, basically diverts to Lincoln for an unofficial visit, comes back a few weeks later. I think, from talking to our folks in Florida, they think he's a, kind of underrated prospect for what he is as a wide receiver. So, I think it feels to me like you're probably looking at two wide receivers in the class. It's, Scott's situation is a little bit unique because of Arizona State playing hardball with official visits once you're committed and things like that. But no, I think, those could be your two in the class very easily. And, I think those would be two really nice gets. It feels like what, Nebraska is kind of trending towards, at least with a small sample size, is you get a couple high school wide receivers. You feel good about developing guys that could, maybe help you early in their careers if you need them to. And then you come over the top with portal guys that are a little bit more veteran on the outside. I'll be curious to see if they have more success with that this year, with Key and Hunter than what they did a year ago. But, I think that's a decent approach in terms of your wide receiver recruiting and kind of keeping that ball rolling with, not having to kind of reset the deck every year.
So far, it seems like everything Trey Taylor does in terms of peer recruitment is intentional. It's not by accident. But he does catch a break with Wagner being just down the street, the 2027 tackle. I get it. It's 2027. But what kind of momentum or could you foresee, or is it independent of the season Nebraska has this year, with making some of the inroads being in so early with 2027s and 2028s?
Well, it helps. It's kind of the sweetener on the sales pitch. And I don't recall the quarterback has to be your Pied Piper for the class. And I don't recall a quarterback that's been this all in on the peer recruiting stuff than Trey Taylor.
Pretty public.
Yeah. Well, and I
maybe
think
Kalen, but he didn't have the reach.
No. And the guy who had the reach, but I don't know that he always kind of felt a little bit reluctant to me, was Jebbia. I mean, he's the guy that I kind of get to as like had the connections with top end talent, was kind of in the right area. But I think with Taylor, you've got to remember, I mean, yeah, he's in Illinois, but I mean, there's a national 7-on-7 championship this week, and Trey Taylor's playing with a team that's just absolutely loaded with guys from Florida and Georgia. Like, that's the kind of reach he has. I mean, he stepped in that 7-on-7 camp at Nebraska and was playing with, the top team in South Florida. And
he's like Spencer for hire.
Basically. But I mean, I think what I heard from recruits too was I think they respect the hell out of the way he just kind of goes about his business. Like, he's very focused when he plays. He's very personable too. Like, he's not kind of over the top and kind of, weird with the peer recruiting. I mean, he's a really relatable kid. He's mature. And, I think that's huge when you start talking the 27 and 28 class, and it only helps getting guys to campus and things like that if you're able to back it up with results on the field. So it's a really nice mix right now. And Nebraska, the 2025 version just needs to help him out a little bit.
That's our guy, Michael Bruntz, Husker247. Bruntz, appreciate the time as always. Good stuff. And see if we can come up with some more random baseball stuff for you next week.
McCutcheon wasn't controversial enough. I kind of wanted some validating, and that was a little too easy for you. I don't feel like I stretched your talents.
No, but I learned something. I was not aware that it had gotten as bad as it did. So thank you for enlightening me this morning.
For as long as it has.
Yes.
It's been like a solid decade.
Like a decade of just average baseball.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Well, I'll try to be of service next week too, Brunsey, for you.
All right. See you guys.
Hey, bud. Michael Bruntz, Husker247. We'll be back.
Get the sense with them being so aggressive with this wide receiver class, somebody is moving on or moving currently.
You mean from the current roster?
Yeah.
Maybe.
I don't know. Do the math.
Moving positions?
I don't know.
Moving on.
Like the Jefferson.
Up to the east side?
Finally got a piece of the pie.
Hey, you happy I knew that one?
Yeah. It hit you over the head with it.
Right in my wheelhouse. That's TV. I'm Ravi. Lulla, Hurrdat Sports Live. Coming up next.
It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great, especially like with the team this year. We're very unique. A lot of shooting from top of the roster to the bottom, guards to bigs. Just talking to him, and I'm just gonna say, I know how he plays. He knows how I play, so we're just kind of conversating about how it's good to be back and playing with each other. So.
What did you miss about Nebraska?
Man, just good people, culture. I think culture is a big thing in basketball. Like I said, just so many great people in the community. When I came back, everybody just showing love and, just not bugging me about leaving or whatever. They just all welcome me back. It's been good.
A successful financial future is built one coin at a time. Whether you're just starting out or a seasoned saver, we've got the financial resources and team of experts who will be with you every step of the way. Centris Federal Credit Union. We are where you are.
I'm excited. I'm really excited for this year. We got a lot of really good dudes on and off the court. The coaches did a really good job of getting the right people in the locker room. Like you said, I've only been with them for a couple of weeks now, but I was with almost everybody, at almost every dinner on visits. And as soon as I saw them, I was able to meet them. And honestly, it sounds cliche, but when my dog met him, just the way that she reacted to him, it kind of gave me a good indicator of what this team was going to be like. And so I'm really excited for what we got in this locker room.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
We're back here on Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Centris Federal Credit Union. That's DB. I'm Ravi. Lulla. What if I told you learning about finances and money doesn't have to be boring? Centris Federal Credit Union has a free online financial education center called Enrich, with personalized content specific to your financial journey. This platform offers tools and resources to help you on the path to success. Plus, you can earn points for completing tasks and activities, which can lead to a monthly entry into a $1,000 sweepstakes. Check it out, centrisfcu.enrich.org, to start enriching your financial goals today. Federally insured by NCUA. DB.
Ravi.
How we doing?
Good.
Doing all right?
Yeah. Shane's giving me better news, but your friends are actually helping me too. Apparently everybody's a big Keiths fan.
Yeah.
And timing belts are more expensive than
the serpentine, if that's what you want to call it.
Hey, so you said people don't call it that anymore. What do they call it?
I don't know.
Who said that? Who said they don't call it that?
Well, Shane and I had this long, lengthy conversation because I was here early this morning. Shane, when I'm here early like that, do I mess up your flow? Are you like, damn, I need this downtime?
Well, I was outside for about 5 seconds.
Well, you still had your backpack double armed too, so.
Yeah, but no, I was outside for about maybe 10 seconds. Like Damon pulled up. Well, I guess I got to go inside and start working right away now.
Dude, don't feel pressure.
You talking about the drive belt? Is that what they call it, Shane?
Yeah, sometimes they call it that.
I don't think it's like an outdated term. I think it's an either or situation.
Yeah. Well, apparently the AAA guy was
called it serpentine.
Very good. And my mom's like relaying the information to me.
Yeah, they're no, I've heard a lot of positive reviews on Keiths in the last couple hours.
That's good.
Yeah,
that's her guy.
Yeah,
or her spot.
Well, yeah, it's right by her house, and
yeah,
she's
but
probably been going there forever, huh?
Very much like loyalty, like.
Yeah.
And I think they have these weird, trustworthy conversations where she's like relaying what he's saying, and I'm like, "Hey, he told you that? Oh, good. He's clearly not trying to make money."
Yeah,
like this very.
Like transparent.
Yes.
Not trying to fool you.
Yeah.
Pull the wool over.
Don't let them fool you.
Which one's that?
I made it up. It's totally made up. I think I got that from my guy Scobie. I don't know.
Scobie? Josh?
No, Brian.
Kansas State great, Josh Scobie?
Yeah. Do you know what's funny? You brought them up.
Why?
On my algorithm last night on TikTok, it was the highest ranked. It must have been something else I looked at because Iowa was first a couple of days ago. Now Kansas State came up of their top-ranked recruits. A lot of them were early 2000s.
For Kansas State?
Yeah.
Yeah, they had a nice run.
It was really
you're like,
and it's just funny you brought them up.
You're getting like your Darren Sproles and your L. Robersons, those kind of guys.
And some didn't really pan out either. I can't remember everybody because it was the top 5.
Yeah.
But shoot, in Iowa's top 5, 2 of them were Epanesas.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Isn't that weird?
That makes sense, yeah.
Well, it makes sense because they were both highly sought after. It's very weird that it's brothers, and
it makes sense.
It's just rare.
It is, but it makes sense with the way that Iowa recruits.
I mean, because Jack Campbell's brother coming out as a tight end wasn't like. Well, I don't even know if Jack Campbell was highly sought after.
Think he was. If
I told you his brother
correctly.
was a menace.
But it's like Dylan and Dayton, right? Dylan very highly sought after, 5-star. Dayton.
You see Dayton's frame?
Yeah.
Well, he is stretching out.
Yeah, he is. He's growing. He's leaning out.
He's leaned out.
He's leaned out quite a bit.
He's got to be
like when he first kind of came out on the scene. Like
he's got to be 6'3" and some change, maybe.
Yeah, I think he was like 5'11" when we started talking about him.
Oh well, he's like in the 7th grade.
Well, I mean, like a year and a half ago, so he's a freshman.
It's like,
which I get is very young, but yeah, he's grown into what they wanted him to be.
Yeah,
which is nice. That's always a plus.
It's nice is nice.
Take those flyers. It works out a little bit.
People nice.
Hey, I'm very nice people.
I'm mad at my buddy Kyle, who's got me, or Riley, who's got me going down this Carter Staroki rabbit hole.
Why did you? Where did you go? Where'd you go with Kyle?
Because I thought you said Cole.
Cole.
Never mind.
Speaking of Kyle, though, your favorite guy had a baby.
Oh, congrats!
Yeah.
Little baby boy, little baby girl.
Boy. Yeah.
I think Kyle would be better with boys.
I don't know. I really don't have a sense on people's parenting. I have no idea.
You do know his personality.
Yeah, but I don't know like what lends itself to boys versus girls or whatever. I don't know.
Did you see him corralling us at like shooting in public spaces?
I feel like he'd do. I think he'd be a very good cat herder.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was going with that.
No,
I don't want to speak for you, but me being a male, I felt like
distracted.
You'd get a feel for.
Well, we're adults though, so I don't know.
Are we?
In age, at least. I just don't. Okay, so here's what I don't know.
Do you want to revisit Lawson Gardens?
I'll go back anytime.
Not a lot of adulting that was going on during those shoots.
I'll go back anytime. I was having a great time. Made s'mores that one time.
That was. Hey, do you realize where we're walking? I feel like this is for dates. Pretty sure I would have preferred you not say that. I was thinking it. We didn't have to say it.
And you refused to take a picture with me. It was pretty rude.
That's fine.
Wow.
No, that's fine.
I was gonna say something. It's gone. I don't know what it was.
That's awesome.
It's out of my head.
I need JJ Watt to sign. That's what I need.
TJ?
Did I say JJ?
Yeah.
Damn it. I need JJ Watt to sign.
Hey Shane, can you let Grace in, please? Thank you. Yeah, he should sign. He should play football.
That's all. So that's my next emotional.
So you got your quarterback taken care of?
Sports hurdle to clear.
You got your quarterback taken care of?
Yep.
Now you got the draft.
Dodgers are getting healthy. Lakers gave away all the draft picks.
Did I see they've had 14 arms on the injured list at some point this year?
And
That's crazy.
I know you're going to pay attention to that because you intimated last year. At what point am I going to become concerned with what's happening in the organization with pitchers?
It's kind of weird, right? Like it's a little strange. It's a lot of pitchers.
As if I don't know.
I'm just saying, are you concerned yet? I would be concerned.
Yeah, I was concerned when you asked me a year ago.
Okay, I was just checking in on you.
Yeah.
Are they doing something wrong?
I'm not there.
Okay.
But
do you have theories? Because I have theories about the Achilles stuff, and I'm not
like
there.
how their arm talents are acquired in terms of their scouting department. Yeah, I'm sure there's some consistency there.
Okay. And kind of like the types of guys they're going after.
Exactly.
Mm.
So there's probably something. I mean, there's probably something to that.
But it's happening with guys they trade for too.
I know.
That's weird.
I know.
It's very strange.
Like Garcia and Glasnow.
Yeah, Glasnow was one I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Like that's super strange.
No, I get it.
Not to rub it in or anything. You guys are still fine. But
they're playing good baseball. But it's the Rockies, so I don't get a false sense of security.
Yeah. I mean, that's probably wise.
Well, you were something else.
Don't worry.
They have won 3 in a row though.
Yeah, don't worry.
Did you see the misplayed fly ball with the rain last night?
The Red Sox made sure that the Giants stayed nice and close.
And I think my man Donnie is I think he's a Rockies fan. He might be the only Rockies fan I know, but he's a Colorado guy because he loves the Broncos too.
I know a Rockies fan. I knew him at Grace. Really good dude. Actually, also named Kyle. Different Kyle, but He's from – this Kyle looks a little bit more like me. Not all the way, but a little bit more.
Oh, and I just went with basic Kyle?
I don't think he actually is, but he looks like he could have some exotic features, I think is the way we would put it. Have you ever watched The League?
No.
Okay. There's a character from The League that he looks like.
Okay.
So if you ever look up Rafi from The League, that's who Kyle looks like.
How in the?
I have no idea. Is that Tim?
Yeah, that's Miles, right?
Don't put that crap on me.
Well, apparently, I want to know the drop that I misquoted that Jacob called me on.
Oh, yeah, he said it was. Who did he say it was?
I thought he said
Because we
Mac.
both thought it was the same person.
I thought he said Mac.
And we did not think it was Mac.
He time-stamped it, too. Weird.
He did. Well, I mean, he's going to stand on business and details.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was.
Can I tell you, he traumatized me like a year ago.
Why? What happened?
So when we were putting out the Hail Varsity yearbook,
Mm-hmm.
I volunteered to help because I used to write back in the day. I'm not a writer, but it's a thing that I've done in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And
Such a team player.
he was, I can be sometimes.
Yeah, but when it comes across as detrimental, just don't volunteer.
So
I think I did okay,
Yeah.
but
I mean, I'd help a mechanic in a heartbeat if he asked me, but
no, just hold that right there.
So is
can you hand me the wrench?
so was somebody saying you were saying a drop wrong? Like,
They said it was somebody, you used the drop, and I said it was somebody that it wasn't.
well, there is one that you do, but I've just always just let it fly. I don't know if this is the one. I'll play it, okay? Okay, and then you tell me who it is.
4, 6, 8, 12.
That was what it was. And I thought it was Coach
That's
McGuire.
not Mac.
I thought it was McGuire.
But here's McGuire's.
10, 11, 12.
They're darn close.
Give me the 468.
4, 6, 8, 12.
Who is that?
Troy.
That's Dannon?
Yeah.
I would say that's not Mac.
But it's not what Jacob said either.
No, it's not.
But I think that was the drop.
But that is the one, and I just let it ride.
Play those again.
Yeah. Oh,
4, 6, 8, 12.
that's Troy.
Play the other one.
10, 11, 12.
So his voice is higher.
That's correct.
McGuire's
It's so
voice is
close,
higher.
though.
They
I
are
mean, it's-
close.
Yeah.
So if I'm saying that wrong and you stored it in the Rolodex, like, wouldn't a good producer be like, hey, DB?
That's actually.
That's fine.
Well, I don't know if I typed it in right or not, so I was just. I mean, I'm just rolling with you.
Yeah, they're clearly different people.
But you've been saying it for like 2 years.
It's great. What?
I mean, Dannon's only been the AD for like a year. But
Whatever, Ravi, with the facts over there.
the facts and the accuracy.
God, you two are cute.
Why don't you just
I'm
why don't you just Google that?
I'm glad I'm in the middle. And it's
I'm
not
just
even
sitting
some
here and
sort.
hemming
It's not even a sandwich, really. I was gonna say some vanilla or Oreo or something, but like every layer is different.
Yeah, it's more like one of those open face sandwiches.
Like a swirl.
Have you seen those that like? Oh, what's the one that it's a very Midwestern dish where they put the mashed potato on top of like the turkey and the bread?
Yeah, I don't do that.
That's fine, but you like are aware that it exists.
I think it's a thing. Yeah.
That's fine.
So he's the mashed potato
Yeah.
and turkey and then bread.
Why do I have to be the turkey?
Because you're the next thing in the line of the sandwich.
Oh,
And the way we sit in the same spots
thought
every
there
day.
was some sort of innuendo.
About turkeys?
Oh, culture. Like you would know. Like you've never heard anybody called like a jive turkey.
Only in semi-pro.
Who was the character that said it?
May have been a black guy.
Okay. I've never seen semi-pro, but that would make sense.
I thought it was a 70s thing, not a black thing.
Well, it was
'Cause
a term
it's-
used in the 70s, but it was mostly by brothers.
Okay, so I didn't know that. I thought it was.
Of course you didn't.
It was either
Well, your
said
ignorance is so bliss.
it was
is-
either said to or by a black guy. There was a black guy involved. I don't know if it was directed at him or if it was said by him.
Who was I talking to yesterday that asked me if that you guys do you know that they don't all look alike?
Who, black people?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm aware. I mean, you and Kenny don't look anything alike.
Kenny.
Okay.
His hair's different.
Well, what about Colin Cowherd and Cedric Coward?
Different people. They don't even look alike.
They were so bad.
You can't even make that mistake. Honestly,
How many minutes in did I say I don't know how much longer I can deal with this?
I think it was 11.
4, 6, 8.
It was pretty early. So I gotta ask this.
I'm gonna look because I think it was.
What is it about? What is it about?
It was pre-pick 4. I know that.
What is it about SAS that says 20 million face of the network?
I don't know, man. I really don't.
Do you think he and Bob Meyer? You think it's a bit, or they really are always at odds?
Oh, I could see that they really don't like each other.
Bob Meyer has to look at him sometimes and be like, "Do you have any idea what you're talking about?"
You said going to be a fun night. Throw up emoji at 7:26. It was right after the VJ Edgecombe pick. I remembered it was right after I was after pick 3.
Yeah,
You know it's bad when I'm like choosing to listen to Kendrick Perkins.
So why can't NBA is the contract? Is it that strong with the rights?
I can't imagine
that the NBA network can't get their own draft coverage.
I can't imagine that.
Because the NFL network does their own thing.
That's what I was just going to say. I can't imagine the NBA contract is more strict than the NFL contract. Because the NFL is like famously litigious.
Yeah, and the NFL network is significantly better.
Yeah, it's way better.
Especially now that they've kind of quieted Louis Riddick.
Yeah, Louis Riddick's the only person worth listening to on those for ESPN, and he doesn't get to talk anymore. And you could tell him just like steaming the entire time.
So it's like, why can't the NBA do it?
I don't know. They've tried a bunch of
Major League Baseball does they got their own draft on their network.
Yeah. I don't know.
They probably can't get another major.
Also, I don't think anyone carries it though.
Well, it's long and drawn out.
Yeah, and you just know fewer of the prospects. With as many high school guys that get drafted.
I'm like, why is the NBA not giving me a viable option? Do you know I'm so dumb? I was hoping the content would be different between ESPN and ABC of the people actually doing it.
I mean, it was different people.
It's like
not different. I mean, not different enough, but I ended up listening to the radio for a good chunk of it.
God, it was so bad.
The radio, at least, because it's like PJ Carlissimo and then a couple other people, and he's okay.
He's okay. He's such a curmudgeon.
He is, but he's not bad on draft night. In general, he's like fairly positive. And it's so on the radio call, it's almost exclusively just they go to interview the candidate or the pick. So they just go, hey, the next pick is in, and then they go to the interview with the last pick, and then the next pick is in, and they go interview. So it's almost all that. So you don't get a lot of like ad-libbing and extemporaneous, exposition and whatever.
Like let's meet the family because we don't have anything to talk about.
Yeah, or you don't have Stephen A. Smith doing Stephen A. Smith stuff.
Bob asked, he's like, "What are you looking at me like that for? Like, what's going on?" I was like, "That didn't seem like a bit."
No, I genuinely don't think they like each other. Yeah, I don't love Bob Meyer either. So,
are you Golden State traumatized?
Yeah, I mean, he's the one that started this nonsense. This is his fault. Kuminga, Moody, Wiseman is his fault.
You mean moving off of Wiseman or drafting him in the first place?
Drafting him in the first place.
Wow.
Him saying so. Either one of two things is true here with Bob Myers and the Wiseman pick. Either because he will pound on the table and tell you that Haliburton's the guy they liked the most. So either he's soft and didn't have the conviction to draft who he wanted it to, or he's lying and that wasn't really who they wanted.
That's funny that this is on right now because I was going to ask you about this. You are traumatized.
Yeah,
I'm
aware.
Definitely.
Yeah, no, I don't like that guy.
GS.
And I like Mike Dunleavy.
GSTD.
Even less, I think, but I can't tell. I haven't decided yet.
Golden State Traumatic Disorder.
Yeah, I didn't follow the letters there, but I know what you meant.
GSTD.
I'd like to avoid the STD part of that, but that's fine.
Traumatic disorder. I think we all would, wouldn't we?
No, you flip the S and the T. So it's GS.
Golden State Traumatic.
TSD.
I said Golden State Traumatic Disorder. I didn't use stress the first time.
No stress disorder. It's just traumatic disorder.
Yeah.
Well, it's stressing me out. That doesn't count.
It's fine.
I thought we were trying to do a PTSD thing here.
No.
It's a GTSD.
We weren't.
Oh,
I was
my bad.
Commenting on PayPal and why they picked the Big 10 and the Big 12 as the pay source. Conferences that don't appear to always be playing nice with one another. Yeah. But it is also good to have an exclusive partner. Because now with the House Settlement Committee, you can pay those guys, schools can pay and compensate student athletes directly. Why not have a vehicle?
Yeah, and it is smart because they obviously they can't put them in their system because they're adamant that they're not employees.
Yeah.
So they can't have them. Like you had to figure this out with somebody.
Yeah, and they are technically contracted workers, right?
Yeah, so they're going to be 1099s basically.
Yeah, because that's
how Caleb is set up. Yeah,
1099. Although my tax person did think there's a better way that it'll eventually evolve into.
I would hope so.
I think was she talking about a corporation? There's some other classification.
If I were
that would be more advantageous.
If I were a student athlete right now that knows what I know now, I would incorporate myself and have them pay my business
as an LLC.
Yeah, either an LLC or I'd convert it to an S corp. Because as an S corp, then you can pay yourself a salary out of the businesses, and then it has to be a reasonable salary, but then you can pay taxes on the salary rather than everything the business makes, as long as you reinvest the other money in the business. That's what I would do personally if I were a 1099 contractor.
Interesting.
And making a lot of money at a university. Just my 2 cents.
The more you know. So shout out PayPal.
Yeah, no, I used to work for PayPal.
What's that?
I used to work for PayPal. So did our guy Amazing Daniel.
Huh.
We were PayPal buddies. Although I never saw him there, I don't think.
That's T-Mo's.
It's a big building. I saw T-Mo's there maybe like once.
Oh, he wasn't going in a ton.
He's doing other stuff.
Dude, his team was incredible.
I've asked him like 4 times what he does, and I worked there, and I still don't totally understand what he does.
I think that's probably the way he likes it.
He like tried to explain it to me though, because I was like, wait a second. So like, what do you do? And he, because it was that one day, it was when you guys were playing, and him and I went to have drinks, and it was too cold, so we just watched your game on TV instead of going to see your game.
Oh, you never came back?
No, it was cold. We pieced out. Oh no, that was a different one. That's when we left at halftime.
Oh, that one too.
Yeah.
I appreciate the support. Couple Bartles and James guys.
We were there to start
in spirit.
This is a couple weeks later. We were gonna go again, and it got cold and started raining and stuff. And I was like, I don't really want to go. And your game was on TV that night, so we were like, no, we're just gonna watch it here. And yeah, he was. So I was like, hey, so explain to me, because he like wines and dines people all the time. He like goes out to these dinners, got a couple big customers, yeah. And like I've run into him while he was like entertaining clients and stuff before. And
is he eating his filet Oscar style like always?
Yeah, it was at one of the places that we like.
He's pretty standard.
He sent me over a drink. I sent him over his drink. We were just.
Oh, that's cute. Yeah. He's never done that for me.
Really?
No.
Oh, what a nice man. But so
wow.
I was like, okay, so you got to explain to me what you do exactly, and he did. And I understand why he's out with clients, because there's like vendors that they want his business and whatever, and I get that. I still don't understand what his business is.
Client relations.
And I'm pretty smart. And I know how the business works. Like I know how PayPal works. And I'm still like, I don't understand this at all.
Wait, who said you were smart?
Me.
Oh. I guess that's all that matters, as long as you believe it.
I mean, the ACT people told me I was smart, and I just held on to it ever since.
So, did I tell you I was having a conversation the other day, and the guy that I was talking to asked me who the most important person in my life is?
Mm-hmm.
And how many times when somebody asks you that question do you give 3 wrong answers? And I go, living or not living? Like I wanted context clues.
You gave 3 wrong answers.
Shut up, man! That's missing the point. Like, really?
No, how's it a wrong answer if they're asking you? Like, it's a subjective question.
Because he was going to arrive at a point.
Oh, and you were making it difficult for him?
I was answering the question.
I don't know what that's like at all.
Okay.
I got your back, Damon. I'm not laughing.
I do.
I'm not laughing at all.
I do think it's funny when somebody asks you a subjective question. They're like, "That's the wrong answer." Like,
he wanted me to say me.
Oh, I would never have gotten there.
And that's what I said.
Like in the way the question was,
I would have said. I said, I'm just telling you, I'd have never said that.
Yeah, not in a million years. You'd really have to walk me up to the fence, like walk me up to the line on that.
Okay,
one.
I don't feel bad. Then.
No, I would not.
Then you should apologize to me for those snide, snarky comments.
TB, I'm sorry.
What a Jerk.
Be honest. Was I in the top 3? Honorable mention, just right outside.
Well,
I had to get clarity. He looked at me like, "Are you dumb?"
I never would have said myself.
Me neither.
And I think plenty of myself. But that's not the way the question is phrased. I never would have got there.
You're ending exactly how you started.
On a heater.
Anything you want to know, just play this little 10-minute bit here and this little 10-minute bit here. That's because
That's all.
you have self-glossed yourself correctly.
Oh, I know exactly how I'm very aware that I think highly of myself.
And so Shane, what is he again?
Self-aware. That's what I am.
No, it's different.
Oh,
I like
okay.
the way Shane replays it better.
I am wrapped in a giant candy shell of being a dick. He forgot the first part. That what's inside the wrapping.
Sure.
So we're not candy coating anybody's Richard. That seems not that part. Deep down, there's a good person in there somewhere.
Down in the jungle deep.
Yeah, it's in I do love the butte. It's down in the depths.
You're a piece of work.
That's where the good person resides. We'll find him someday, maybe. We keep looking.
I don't know. You keep this up. It's gonna be a
Oh,
while.
Richard Hole.
Let's see if we can get back here tomorrow.
Hey, it's a Friday tomorrow.
Is it?
It is.
God, this week is.
This week's been going by really fast.
It has gotten away.
Going by really fast.
So we're almost to July 1.
We are.
Not bad.
I do want. It's a good time to remind people we are going to be taking a little break.
Yeah,
in July.
I was floored that was suggested and not asked for. I'm like, this must be one of those new millennial companies.
You give people time off.
Well, what did he call it? Like a recharge?
Like a reset. Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's nice.
Yeah. So we'll be taking a little break in the second week of July. So right after the July 4th holiday, we'll take a
But
little
of course,
break.
what did you suggest? Which I would like to have been consulted first.
What's that?
Hey, let's do some content just so we can stay fresh. Well, doesn't that defeat the purpose of a recharge?
Don't worry, I'm gonna knock that out. You don't have to worry about it.
Oh God, I don't need a spokesman.
I'm not gonna speak for you. I just want to make sure that the people have something to listen to every day.
I probably need to be a part of that. I just can't turn you over to yourself. It's because I care.
I'm not gonna do it by myself. I was gonna talk to some of our friends.
We may have to get a few verbals. We just can't be going all willy-nilly.
Verbal commits.
Yeah, we got a standard to uphold.
Hey, being signed and being committed, not the same thing. That's what we learned from Coach Manning today.
Look at AJ's comment.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, Luda, stay about my business.
Okay.
My business.
All right then, buddy.
Early 2000s, baby. That's my sweet spot.
Wish me luck on my car.
Good luck on your car. I hope it is not expensive. I hope Keith does a good job. Hope you get that thing right as rain.
My man.
There you go. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla. It's Hurrdat Sports Live.
See you. Have a good day. Love you.